So this is going to all be based around the MREA book. Who has read the MREA? Yeah. It's a good book to read. First half of the book, I always say, applies to your business right now. Second half of the book gives you a vision of where you goes through how you can build a very successful team and the model to build it. But the first half of the book talks about the lead tracking, leads, listening to button. Why do we think leads are so important? Very simple answer. Oh, awesome. You don't have business without leads. And that's exactly what MRE says, right? You could be the best social media and whatever. You could create the best looking graphics and designs and ads and this and that and the other. But if you don't have leads that go up to, then it's all for nothing. There's a reason that a guy in San Diego, he can just go run out and just say, that's the method that works for him. What works for you and me and all of you, it's going to be completely different, and that's fine. And you should all be doing something that's different. But as we go through today's session, start thinking about maybe it's something off that list of 150 ideas. Maybe it's something completely different, but let's build the system around it. That's what we're going to dive into. Then we're going to talk about the why, what, and how to learn MRE. So the first half of the book, and I recommend, since it's this time of year, this is a good thing for you guys to start in on this. Read that MRE. At least the first half. You should read the whole thing. And another good process for you is going to be that shift book club, because that ties into a lot of the strategies from MRE. How many of you, when you're thinking about your system, are you going to use the band or are you going to use something else? Let's show right around the example screens.
I use something else because my native is still switching.
Okay. Yeah, I have that answer. It makes life easier. So that's something you think about. So, now I always tell people this, I don't care if you don't say something.
Yes, and I'm
Yeah.
very happy about it all.
Right.
I just went, oh,
Okay.
sun's out, yay.
So I always tell people, I got some people I've coached that use their calendar on their phone. I got some people that use a notepad. I got some people have a daily planner. Some people use command. Some people use, I mean, you name it. Yeah, I mean, the options are endless. But they have a system around whatever method they use. So make sure that you're thinking fully through all of this. Because you can't be dabbling a little bit here, a little bit there, because it's all going to fall apart because you're going to, people will fall between the cracks because you don't have one system that you're following. And the big word on this slide is scalable. So what you're learning now and the system you're building will allow you to talk to a lot of people at one time. This is going to be where scripts are going to become very, very important. So if you have two clients, one is about 18 months away from actually buying or selling. You have another client that's going to be in the next 60 to 90 days. Who should your focus be? Person in the next 60 to 90 days, right? So as you get into lead generation and it goes all over, and you get thousands of people in your database, like you said, it's going to take a while to merge them all over into a different system. There's going to be some people in what I call the active bucket. So in the next 60 to 90 days, they're going to transact. There's going to be some that you need to nurture because they're going to be sometime between that 3-month and 1 year mark. And then there's going to be people that just kind of watch and stay in touch with that are going to be over a year. To build.
Okay. So just a quick question about the nurturing or whatever. Like I'm still struggling with some mindsets. If I could just like, is it okay if I ask?
100%. That's what we're here.
Okay. So mindsets of nurturing, like I've still struggled with, like I'm a natural nurturer, but when I'm nurturing to gain business, I feel creepy about it.
What?
Like, I'm just-
Let's dive in on why.
Okay, I'm not sure, so I feel creepy about it, so then I'm doing the nothing thing. Like, I'll wait for them to contact me, you know what I mean? If I get a lead and it's like, boom, I'm ready, like, I can convert at a very high level. I'm converting on leads at a very high level if I don't need to nurture them. If I need to nurture them, I'm feeling creepy about it because I'm doing it because I know that I want their business and it doesn't seem natural anymore. Help me with that mindset.
Start calling, I mean, nurturing is just about calling and seeing how their kids do. Their kids just graduate instead of social media. First, you want to say, hey, you know, anybody looking to buy or sell that? And they say, no. Okay, well, great. Hey, I want to ask about your kid, whatever. Yeah, and then it becomes the personal conversation. You just see you hit the business out first, so you're not acting like a big switch. That's what I think. Sorry.
Oh, you're fine. This is, I want this communal kind of conversations. Yep. Yeah, of course.
You're not what?
I'm not ready to look for one week.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
I'm not ready to look for one month. But I would start.
Yep.
What date would want to be in your involved?
It's the touches, the nurture, like, I mean, if, say, hey, how's your kid doing? I feel weird because I feel like I'm just asking because I'm hoping that I'm not that person, but I'm afraid they're gonna think that.
What point did you say that if I will do this paper? Why?
Thank you.
And that's where it's all in the mentality, right? So what he was just saying. So let's kind of role play through this. So you're talking to him and he says, I'm not going to be ready till next February, not next month, but in 13 months. My first question to that is always, great, why are we thinking next February just out of curiosity? I want to get in your mindset because we have seen, like you just mentioned, so many times we've seen clients say next February, but then by June, they're in something. So if we take that as next February as the gospel, and we don't reach out to them until January of next year, we find out they bought 6 months ago. So you want to stay in touch with them. So now we get into the mentality of why you're feeling that way. And a lot of us, especially newer to the business, start feeling that way. I've coached a lot of people that have felt that way. So now it gets into, are we the slimy salesperson? Or are we truly trying to help you achieve a goal? If we're the slimy salesperson trying to get a commission check, then it's easy to feel that way. But if we're truly trying to help somebody, it's either going to be you or him or him or him. They're gonna use somebody. Why not you?
Are we trying to get into their mindset too, a little bit, so to see where they're at, what they're thinking? Hello? Are we going that route at all?
Explain a little bit more. I think
Okay,
I
what I was
understand.
What I was thinking is that they're thinking, oh, in the winter it's bad because of snow and all these other things. And
That's why I asked that question. Hey, Paul, why are we thinking next February
right, so.
or next June? Well, we don't have enough to save up for a down payment. Now, this is where lender partnerships, so maybe we know of a lender that has some great programs. But maybe it is, without a doubt, they have to wait 18 months for whatever reason. Great, we should still be talking to them at least once a month. This is where getting to know your clients. Maybe it's just a once a month email check-in. Maybe it's a quick phone call or a text. Maybe it's a holiday card, whatever it happens to be.
We'll focus on what we're facing right now. We're waiting till spring. I heard that 5 times yesterday.
Yep.
You know, what I always do, Greg, where I'm wrong, is I always ask, well, why spring?
Yeah, that's where I always
That's my
start,
first
because I want to
question.
understand why you're thinking that way. And then my follow-up, when I can hear in 3/4 of the time at least, you can hear, well. Then you're like, okay, it's not
They're not
definitely spring.
right.
So then my follow-up question is like, all right, if we found you the perfect home tomorrow, would you be willing to pounce on it? Like it has everything you want and it's the perfect price. A vast majority of the time, the people are like, yeah. So this is why we want to stay in touch with them, because we never know when that house will pop up. So I always try to get into their mindset, because again, maybe rarely, but sometimes there is, they have to wait that, 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, for whatever the reason is. But we should still be at least contacting them, at least once a month.
I heard something with you, Michael and Albert, this week, where Albert said in an old way, he said that he was, like the people had already purchased their home. And so Albert said, if you could move today, would you? Now it's kind of an interesting side question, and then, yeah, I'd love to get to that lake. Where it was. So we weren't really thinking that guy was ready to move today. He said he'll be bought your next home already.
Well, that's the big thing. You gotta find out when they want to be in it. They'll say something. They don't know what the market is. They don't know right now how long it's gonna take to get a home. And that changes over time. Right now, we're 20 average days on market. What if we change and go back to more historical average of 30 to 45? You know, the market slows down. It's harder to get a home. You know, they don't know. They just know they're just throwing some at you, I think, when they get to spring or February.
Yeah, exactly. It just sounds good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And again, maybe it is a valid thing. Our kids are in the school. We're not going to make them move during the school year. I'll still follow up in that conversation. Well, we move every 10 years, let's say. The right home popped up next week. Would you want to miss out on that perfect home? Especially if it's something unique. And again, most of the time people are like, yeah, it's worth the struggle to do it in the middle of school. This is why diving into the motivation is so key in these initial conversations. Because our clients will be all over the map. We've all seen it where they're super excited, then they kind of cool off, and they get super excited again, or they get under contract, now they start wavering. This is where you need to understand their motivation to sell or buy. And that's got to be part of the conversations you have. And you got to make note of those motivations, because sometimes you're going to have to remind them, because they get so tied up in this one little thing of the process, or they looked at 3 or 4 homes and they haven't found the one yet. Like for me personally, it took me over a year and seeing 50 some houses to find the house that I bought. So sometimes there's people like me, and sometimes it's one and done, you know, but we got to understand their motivation and what they're looking to do. All right, so as we get going into the first chapter here, our objectives, the evolution of lead generation in real estate and an agent's career, the positioning battle and how to win it, why this is truly a lead generation business, and then the difference between lead generating and lead receiving. So just before we get into this, what do you guys think the difference between lead generating and lead receiving is? I need to switch the camera.
You receiving what's like option or something, that's the receive, like sign up for something. But
They're coming to you. It could be a lender sending them to you as well. Yep. So. Extreme close-up of leads. So this is kind of going back to the MRE, we did this in business planning clinic and a couple other trainings. Prospecting and marketing, do you guys remember the difference? Prospecting, that's door to door, that's very time intensive. You're able to talk to one person at a time. Marketing is gonna be buying billboards, doing social media. You're doing it in mass, where you're talking to people. There's benefits to both and drawbacks to both, but you should be doing them both. Because there's only so many people you can talk to in a day, so let your advertising or whatever go out and talk to people and bring them into your sphere. But then you also need to go out and talk to people one-on-one. So again, do an event, go door knock, post an open house or whatever it is.
Does everybody know that 10 other agents are talking to every person you're talking to?
I always say,
You don't know that. I didn't know that when I first started. I had to learn that the hard way. The heck?
Yeah, because when I get the listing, they text me and let me know that they've been talking to that person too. I'm like, sorry about you. I got it. Yeah, they do. They let me know.
and that gets into just this, the positioning battle. Think about your value proposition. So why would I pick you over her? It can't be, I'm better. It's gotta be more in depth than that. This is why we talk about value proposition and essentially every training we do. Look at it as your elevator pitch. You're going up 2 floors, you got 10 seconds. What is it about you that's gonna be why I select you?
Because I believe 100%. He can close the deal, I can close the deal. How people return to you and refer you because of the way that you make them feel. If you make them feel valued and appreciated, like people care about how you make them feel. We can both convert and make the deal happen. You know, people like warm and fuzzy. I don't know. I mean, most people like warm and fuzzy.
Now, I don't like talking about this topic, but let's just go to all these commission lawsuits. The essence of a lot of them are you're making way too much for what you do. But to me, when I read these stories, it's like, it sounds like you had really bad agents that didn't do you any benefit. You didn't look out for your clients. You're just there to make a quick paycheck and not to win. How many times have I've had clients buy meat closing nice.
Buy you dinner.
Yeah. So if you treat your clients like gold and really look out for them and, and I've heard agents like this, we're actually just talking about Rocky up in South Bend. He almost tries to talk people out of buying a home because he's like, this doesn't have all you want. He's not looking just a quick slam dunk. He's like, when I was talking to you, you said the house had to have this, and
Yes.
You're trying to buy a house with just this. Like, I don't want to sell you this house. It's not your house.
I had a show yesterday.
He's looking out for he's looking out for the best interest of his client. You don't think everybody and their brother is going to talk about that experience? That's earning your money. That value proposition, if you do it the right way, that's why you're earning your money. Think about it that way. We're trying to help people achieve their biggest financial purchase or the biggest financial sale that they've had. We need to look out for the best interests of the clients. We need to understand truly what their motivation is so we can remind them. Again, they might get so caught up on this little thing. When we're meeting these people and doing our lead generation, we need to get to, why are we having this conversation? Why are you thinking about buying? Why are we thinking about something? So the game's changed. So prospecting, this one, again, you're just you're out there calling one person at a time. Let me ask you this, how many people have gone through their goals inside of command? Yeah. So I'm gonna pick on your numbers really high. So when we did Desmond's, we just left there's built-in conversion rates from the time you meet somebody to closing. So we left the national averages in there. So from a lead coming in to converting it to a contact was 5%. He needed 26,000 and some change. That's assuming you're gonna buy a call list and sit there and call enough people. Do we want to do that? This is why we teach working our sphere is so important. Now, if you're willing to do 26,000 phone calls, that's great. And there are agents that do it. But you got to pick again, what's important to you. And then right after that, the mailbox, that's marketing. We're just talking about this. This is you reaching out en masse to a group of people. Referrals. This is the heartbeat of your business if you do it the right way. If you treat your clients right, you build great lender relationships. You get enough referrals. Most of the people in this business, if they get 2 closings a month, they're going to be really happy. So think about this. If you had 5 lenders, they gave you 1 referral every quarter. Right there's 20 closings. Remember, it's a 2-way street. You need to send business their way. They'll send business back to you. But even if you got half that, that's still 10 of your 24 closings. Just by having a great lender relationship. And those are slam dunks by and large. But some people start with the lender first before they even start thinking about it. That's a very important relationship to build.
Brian,
Yes.
we have some referrals, not just having a sale, but you go back to that client who sold 1 year ago.
Yeah.
And keep calling, is that what you're doing?
So we follow up quarterly with all our past clients. Might be an email, like a home tip email, could be a holiday card, it's gonna be a phone call, it'll be a home anniversary card. I'd really like to start doing birthday touches, but haven't gotten there yet. But inside of the phone call touch, I'll generally ask for. Now, let me ask you this, because I'm always curious. So will you ask for referrals and reviews from every single client?
No.
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 I mean, I can think of 4 or 5 deals I've had over the years where I'm like, not happy. And even if they call me to do a deal, I'm just like, I don't think we're good.
You don't refer them out to an agent you don't like? That's what our coach says to do.
I've never thought about it that way, but again, so, you know, everything we're talking about, it's go like through rose colored, but there are gonna be those clients that you might get to the finish line, but it's just not maybe a great fit. So those people, I'll just kind of,
But don't burn bridges.
no, I'm not gonna say I've never worked with you.
Yeah.
I just won't put them on that kind of a campaign. They call me in 5 years' time, maybe my emotions are different about it and I'll do it, but again, it won't be everybody, but it's by and large, all your clients. Yep, I'm gonna be talking to them after they close. So,
They still get the weekly email, but I ain't calling.
yeah,
Well, and Brian, if there are a couple and they got divorced, the one out that's working for it, right?
yeah, right. So that's where, again, you don't burn bridges. And maybe I don't work with them again, but what if they start sending me referrals and those people I connect with? So you never burn a bridge. You never know when they're gonna come back around. And again, you don't know what's necessarily going on in people's personal lives. So maybe they've been tough to deal with over a 30 or 60-day window, but maybe they're going through a lot and you just don't know about it. So how your career will evolve. As most of you are new agents, right now you're in the survival mode. Like, how can I get enough just to even pay my dues for this year? We all just had that big bill at the end of the year, right? So a lot of us are just like, I got $1,000 worth of bills to pay just for my real estate license. I got to pay for all the holiday stuff, got bills to pay. We're in the survival. This means you're talking to you should be talking to anybody and everybody. Going to the store, handing out cards, wearing name tags, whatever it takes. Post every open house that gets posted in a private page. Reach out to our agents about hosting open houses for them. Then you get to about the year 2 or 3 mark. Now you start developing. You've had enough deals, you got enough experience under your belt. Now you're getting a little bit more as a business owner. Your anxiety goes down a little bit because you're like, you got enough deals coming in consistently, you know, like at least your bare necessities are covered. So how many of you went to the business planning clinic in October?
What?
The business planning clinic at the Coliseum? So Aaron told the story about when he first got in the business. He's like, all right, what's my bare minimum to like where I can go to do this full time? Like, what's your true bare necessities? And that's in that survival mode. So when you get to the developing, you can get out of that mindset, because you got enough closings coming in. You know your bare necessities are coming in. Now you can reinvest in your business. So you're starting to do more marketing. Spend a little bit more money on your business, reinvest. Referrals start coming in right around that year, 2 or 3 mark, because we've done enough past deals. We've hopefully done enough good deals where those people really liked working with us. And now they're sending referrals our way. Then we get to the thriving portion. So personally, I kind of think about that went through this really well. And we're starting to see her come back into the office a little bit more as Reagan Stackhouse, who used to have that office right there. You know, she came in, clawed her way through the business, getting a lot of deals put together. Then got to a point where she was getting tons of referrals, doing marketing. A lot of people knew her. Then she started building a team. So she got to that thriving part. I think it was right around year 5 in her business. So she started building a team and really scaling. And she followed the MRA model really closely and built a big business. Then she stepped away from the business for a little while she was raising her son or daughter. I'm not too sure what she had, but now she's far enough along in that. Now we're starting to see her come back in the business. But she got to a point where she could step away, focus on her family for a while, while business was still coming in, and she could refer it out and still make money. So she built it to a point where she had admins doing things, and you know, she had it really big, all in a 5-year span. We're not talking this is going to take 20 years to build. We've seen agents in a 2-year window build a big business. But this is why this class is so important, these systems that we're going to be building. Which phase do you guys think you're in right now?
1.5.
Right.
We'll try to be positive.
So, good. Because we're starting to see referrals and things like that coming in, and enough people know that, hey, she's a realtor.
To be like financially in a place where not having a lot of overhead personally. You know, like when I went into this, like just my personal finances, I didn't have a lot of debt. And so what I need to survive isn't what a lot of other people need to survive. I mean, if that makes sense what I'm saying. So I feel like I'm definitely in developing stages, because I've got 2 businesses that we're basically working right now.
Good. I was like this exercise right here. So when I came over here in 2016, there was about 7 of us. So when we'd call and say we're with Keller Williams, they're like,
Yeah, that's what happened.
That's how it is in May County stuff.
right. It's a slow build. So if we think of, let's just say cereal brands, how many can you think of? Kellogg's, Post, you know, these kinds of things. This is how you need to think about your, like, how are you going to ingrain your mentality and your brand into that market? And one of our probably top 3 producing agents, Angie Ricolta. She's got a billboard coming into town. I think she's got one going out of town.
She has more billboards than I have fingers on my hands.
So she have how many? I was thinking about the one, as soon as you kind of get into her territory, you pass her a billboard. So she,
Got Real Estate Alley on 13.
yep.
It's fine, though.
But she has the first one. She's the first one, right?
Oh.
But she's, you know, she's building her brand there. There's probably not too many people that don't know who she is in that area. But she's part of every board and organization, volunteers. She doesn't cold call. She just goes out and kind of moves and shakes in the community, has billboards everywhere. So everybody knows her face and all that. She became one of our top agents in less than 5 years of being a real estate agent. But she did it her way.
So Reagan, because I worked with her.
Yeah.
At first, she blew me away with her system information, the spreadsheets on every single task. Next thing, buyer, seller, she had like locked in, like in the crosshairs, I was including her press, then she passed that off to the admin.
But she built, and this is the essence of this class. It's, if you think about the MRA book, that second half of the book talks about getting an admin and things like this. if you build the systems right at first, anybody can step into that role. Last thing you want, you build a system, that person leaves and then the system falls apart. You as the business owner need to be in control of the system and know what the system is. You do not want to be a hands-off person, because if you don't know how the system works, that person just decides to quit showing up one day. That system has to be pretty plug and play when that next person comes in. So you have to be involved. But then she is very involved in building it.
Well, and she also, it's like with the admin, and so she had them add that new step in, because if something happened, she went to them and say, make sure this gets documented. She didn't have to document herself.
Exactly. But that's visibility group where we're at. We got pretty dialed in, but everything's in a binder, literally step by step. And if we notice kind of a gap in our system, we'll call Lorraine. Okay, this one didn't, again, it's not a blame game and she doesn't take it as a blame. Like, this could have worked better, this, so let's make note of it. Let's tweak it. And we're actually, her and I are meeting tomorrow, because we always do this kind of end of the year recap of like, what went well, what could have gone better, kind of in our systems.
One of the things she said, but she did say that when clients were calling her and they didn't have an answer in there, that's a big indication of the habits. So she said, the more I'm ahead of the client, what's coming next, the less stress.
Exactly. Because remember, we're in this all the time. We need to understand how our clients think. So if we have an engineering type of client, we know they're going to be very analytical. They're probably going to read every word of every contract you send them. Great. We're not trying to hide anything, but we know we're probably going to need to take more time with them, because they're probably going to have a lot more questions. But our job is to answer questions before our clients even think about it. And I know from just talking with her over the years, that's exactly how she looked at it. And because it is a very stressful time. Again, we're in this business all the time. Well, for our clients, it's maybe once every 10 years that they're doing this. So it is a very stressful time for them. They're boxing up everything, new neighbors, maybe a new school for the kids, a lot of expense to it. You're furnishing a new home and all this kind of stuff. So if we can take any stress off of our clients, now we've become an asset, a resource for them, not just a kind of a pain in the butt. So think about this, like, what is your value proposition? How are you going to insert yourself in the mind of people? So did anybody go to any of the Jeff Glover trainings over the last few years? Okay. It's canceled quite a few. Yeah. So if you go up to Detroit, go to a Tigers game, he's on the out. Now this is, I understand why I'm saying this. This is very expensive marketing that he does, but he sells enough that he can do it. But they're on the outfield wall or on the scoreboard. They have cars drive around the stadium. They got people set up outside the stadium. They got billboards all around downtown. I mean, there's nobody that doesn't probably know Jeff Glover's name just by at least driving around Detroit, because you see it everywhere. Now, again, that's an extreme. That's a very expensive way to market. But what can you do as we go through this that could position that? But it's up to you to decide, what do you want that position in their mind to be? I'll get the job done the quickest. I'll be the most resourceful. I'm always there by your side. What kind of message do you want that to be? What's that position going to be? Okay, you're talking to an agent or a client. So I'm talking with you. We meet at an open house and we're talking, having a great conversation. You're like, well, I appreciate your time. Like I said, Michael's my realtor. I'm not going to, even if I had a beef with him, I'm still not going to say anything to you. Like, hey, he's going to take great care of you, but I'd always like to be your second choice. If anything ever happens, I'd like to be your backup. I'm not stepping on toes. Even if I have a feeling about Michael, I'm not going to say it. Because there's been times I'm at an open house, they're like, we're working with so-and-so. I'm like, it's one way to live life, like kind of thing. But we all have these agents, we just don't click, so, but I'm never going to say that to you, because maybe it's your cousin, maybe it's your brother or sister. Like, I have no idea. So I never take any assumptions on that, but I don't hesitate to offer to be second place. Cause I don't want to try to scoop you from him, cause that's karma, that's gonna come back around. Somebody's gonna scoop my next client from me, you know? Like, that's not my goal, but I'm hoping in the conversation.
That instance, would you follow up with that buyer after the open house, knowing that they have an agent?
I have in the fashion of like, so we see this style house, let's say it's a 3-bed ranch. I know from our talks, that's something very important to you. If I saw something, I might send it to you and be like, hey, I saw this and made me think of you, you know, give Michael a call and get it scheduled, you know, kind of thing.
You'll
Rarely, but like, there might be something like that, like, you know, but again, I don't know how that other agent's doing their business. That's where I'm not afraid to just have these conversations and show my value. And then you can make that decision, like, I keep hearing from this guy. He's not sending me anything.
That's trying to steal me, that's trying to help me.
Right. Yep. So, but that's where I don't mind offering to be, like, so many agents you'll see where I'm working with so-and-so, they're like, oh, okay. And then they just kind of turn and walk away from me. Like, I still want to build a relationship and things like that with you, show value, because I don't know what will happen.
I had a lady come to the house, take a ridge, and I was talking for a little bit. She would ask a question about then I already worked with someone. I can take you to go show a couple of times you're interested in. Said she's not working with anyone, but her best friends are. But she still like the next day, she still texts me and reaches out to me. So she never said I'm working with a friend. She just said like, and she also said I haven't even told her yet because I want to do business. So just to say like I didn't shut her out when she said my best friend's realtor. I still talk to her like still have stuff right now because she even told me I haven't told her yet.
Right.
So that could have just been like,
Do you
And
teach the referral trick? On the family and friends, when you got one like that, our coach teaches, sometimes it can sound the worst case scenario, I can understand you don't want her in your business. How about we help her out, we give her a referral on this? You know, I represent you, I'll give you a referral. That works a lot of times.
I've never heard of that. That
They
is a
got
good
best
idea.
friend or a family member, because you'll have that, like my sister's a realtor. Okay, great, but do you really want her all up in your business, especially if you're already open with that? And I was like, no, not really. Okay, well, how about we help her out? We do referrals in real estate. You know, we'll give her 25% referral on this, and I'll represent you. That way she still gets paid and she's not in your business.
Because I'll tell you this, and this is by and large, my 3 toughest deals are all with family and close friends. And it does create a bad look. So not even just being all up in your business, but what if something goes sideways? Now it's your best friend that now you feel like maybe they screwed you over a little bit. So now you got this. And some people do feel that way. They're like, I'd rather not use somebody I'm close with because I don't want something to happen where it affects our relationship. So I've never heard that, but that's a good idea. She makes her 25-30%. You still make money. Everybody's happy. So, and the fact that she's like, by already bringing that up, there's already this, she's got hesitation. Yeah. So you're not even planting the seed. It's already in fruition, you know?
I'm just checking, Super Ridge, I sent an email that I cut that shut down those houses. It's still under contract, right?
Correct.
Okay, just double check.
So far, so good.
Thanks.
We haven't got to inspection yet, Val, for seeing anything. So this is what you brought up first. No leads means no business. And again, we've already touched on this, the difference between generating and receiving. You have to be doing both. Build relationships where leads come to you. So past clients, lenders, you know, you can build relationships as far as wide, but you could go as far as contractors. So people do carpet cleaning. So we have an agent here that owns a carpet cleaning business. Her husband does. They own it together, but he's like the face of that. How many deals she's gotten by he's there cleaning the carpets? Ask, why are you getting the house all shaped up or thinking about selling? Oh, hey, my wife's an agent. Here's her card. Off you go. So there's lead receiving, right? And then she's also out generating leads by her methodologies. All these you should be doing both. Now, how much you spend in each world's different. Our goal would be getting to a point where we receive more than we generate, because we get, 10, 15 years in this business. We have enough past clients that are starting to bring other leads into us. Are there such thing as too many leads?
No.
Worst case scenario, you got too many where you feel like I can't provide the level of service that I want to give to my clients. Build a relationship with agents that you know you can trust. So I know I got an agent looking up north. I can't provide enough service. I'm gonna call Marlene. Here you go. 30% comes back to me or whatever it is. You take it and you run with it. I've heard this too many times where we talk about marketing and things like this, where people are like, it's gonna bring too many people on. Like, there's no such thing. Like you have that limiting mindset already before you've done anything. Let's bring in one person before we worry about bringing in 400 at once, right? And again, when we get to the systems here in a little bit, they can hear from you, but you gotta be honest with yourself. It's like, I truly can't provide the level of service. So now you're bringing in that many leads. Now do you think about creating a team? Again, now we get to the second half of the MREA book. We bring in the admin, take some time off, we get a buyer's agent going or whatever it happens to be. But do not have the mentality as we go through all of this, that there's such a thing as too many leads. I don't think anybody would complain about 10 closings a month. But we got to build the system around it to make sure it happens correctly. Temptation. Program must always be active. It doesn't need to be. You could do like every other week, you got a campaign going. Maybe it's a once a month thing. Maybe you do have something consistently, but it's on a small scale. Shift your activities largely towards marketing. What do you think the problem with that would be? This gets back into the prospecting versus marketing.
You're just putting it all out there. It's not back and forth, I suppose, like the conversation.
You're not in control. So you put a billboard up. We'll go back to Angie's thing. She's got how many ever billboard? Is she able to talk to everybody in their cars? No. All it is it's a mind, like, oh, I've seen her logo, I've seen her face or whatever. You need to be prospecting as well, because now you're in control of the conversation. It's one-on-one. You have more control over it. That's why those two need to work together. If you get way too much towards marketing, it's kind of like putting the sign in the yard and just hoping and praying that something happens. But if you're not marketing the house, you're not door knocking the neighbors, you're not doing these kind of things, you're just literally, here's the sign in the yard. Just gonna go sit and stare at my phone until it rings. You have no control over that. That's the same thing with postcards, billboards, anything where you're not specifically face to face or on the phone with somebody.
We were just talking about this the other day. The cheapest form of marketing is door knocking and cold calling. That's why I focus on it, because it doesn't cost you much.
Just time.
It's cheap and it's the most effective. The biggest return on investment is cold calling, and that's why so many people do it. But yeah, billboards, anything works.
Yeah.
That's
Again,
what I'd say. But you have to do multiple steps. So many people they start out and they send out all these postcards, but you're not door knocking or calling them. You just wasted your money on paper, because they got 10 other, check your mailbox. I get marketing stuff from realtors all the time. They're getting the same things and they go right to the trash. Now, if you do that, call. Yeah,
and then maybe run a social media ad geared towards that neighborhood. So now they see a social media ad around it. So again, you spend $20 to focus, and I'll just keep picking on Pine Valley. So you door knocked Pine Valley because you had an open house coming up. So you did the open house, you door knocked. The next couple weeks later, maybe a postcard hits. And then when that's hitting their mailbox, you got a social media campaign runs for 45 days. That's geared right around that neighborhood. How many postcards have you gotten from realtors that say, let me list your house? Why? I mean, what's the call to action? That's my question. There's got to be a call to action. It can't be just, hey, use me because I'm nice. Right. Yeah.
sometimes.
That gets to your value proposition. What's going to separate you out from him or her? And it's got to be something specific to you. And if you're going to promise all this stuff, then do it. I've seen too many people, and that's why I talk about when we talk about buyer presentations, listing presentations, we're jumping ahead a little bit, but they'll have this like page long, hire me because I do. They do like 2 of those things, like that, you're just waiting to be hung out to dry. Because something's gonna go sideways, those people will look back and be like, well, you told me you're doing these 12 things, you've done 1 and 2 and nothing else, so I'm paying you to do all these and you've done nothing. Why did I pay you? Put 2 things on that list if that's all you're gonna do is 2 things. Be honest with yourself. Marketing should be database driven. So these people, we talked about that gentleman from Mega Camp that sends out the 5,000 cards or letters a month. They're all in his database. And that's the people he keeps targeting. Same thing with that gentleman in San Diego that door knocks. Inside Smart Planes, you'll find the 8x8, the 33 touch and 12 direct, and it's actually 36 touch now. We haven't updated the slideshow, but this is where people you've not talked to are hearing from you consistently. So the problem, what do you think the problem here is? Oh, I won't call it a problem, but the situation people walk into here. So they're all based around people we've never met or talked to. So again, we were sitting out, they scan the QR code, now they're in our database, whatever happens will be. We finally get them on the phone, they forget to take them off of this stuff. So then it's all this stuff about never meeting them or talk to them. Make sure you adjust your plans as you talk to them. Again, this gets into the systems we'll be talking about in a bit. And number 5, do not ignore prospecting. You have to have these one-on-one conversations. Again, whatever you choose to do to meet people. And you must master scripts and dialogues. This is why I brought up this training calendar wherever it went to. Script and role plays every day of the week. Again, they're available on Zoom certain days and in person certain days. The Zoom and the next day on in person are usually going to be the same scripts. Come to both. You can't just do script and role play one day and say, I got it. Practice them over and over and over. Think about a baseball player. Every time they go to the stadium, what do? Batting practice. They field ground balls, catch pop flies. They do this every day of the year during the season. They've been doing it since they're probably 6 years old, but they still do it every single day. Think about your scripts in the same way. What do you think about being proactive at hiring is? The way I look at this, it's when do you bring in your first admin? So again, getting to the second half of the MREA book, don't wait till you're drowning to then try to bring somebody in and be like, oh, that's the lesson. You should be building the systems as your business grows. And then you can forecast far enough in advance, like in the next 12 months, I'm going to be at a point where I truly need an admin. But if you built your systems along the way from deal 1 to deal 30, then you can bring that person in early enough before you're drowning and teach them how to do it. You wait till you're drowning and then hire them. It's going to be rough. Not saying it can't be done, but you're just putting yourself behind the 8 ball for no reason. This is why it's important to read the book. Because again, that whole second half of the book talks about when you should be looking at this. Then try it about deal 30. When you're doing about 30 deals a year, you can make a case right around deal 25. You should really start looking. Because probably the next year you'll be at that right around 36 deals is where they recommend it. You're probably going to need a buyer agent. You're so busy with showings and managing the deals and things like that. It gets to a point where, and this is assuming you're full-time in real estate. But once you get to like deal 36 of the year, you're toast mentally. You're running around, managing deals, showing homes, contracts, negotiating inspections, appraisals, all this kind of stuff. This is where, like on Visibility Group, if I show a house, so I go show you a house, you want to write an offer, we talk the details. I'll get into my car, snapshot to Lorraine, we're writing an offer on this. I already talked to him, so she's already got the opportunity built. So she's already got his information. Here's the details. That offer is written before I even get home. I get home, I scroll through it really quick. It all looks good. She sends it off to the other agent. So imagine that kind of leverage. Like I don't have to worry about any of this. I just need 3 minutes of time to look through the offer. make sure it looks right, and then she takes care of everything from there. It looks like it's coming from me. But everything's done, so I could be showing 4 different clients' houses in a day. Because she's taking care of everything else, and she's managing all my transactions too. This is where leverage matters. But if we waited till we were doing way too many deals where we had none of these systems, but when we brought Maureen on. She would have to try to create these systems while we're already doing, 100 and some deals a year between all of us. But we had all the systems built, so when she came on, it was like 2 days of training. It's like, here's this checklist for this. Here's this task list for this. Here's this. There's a little binder. There you go. Then 2 days, she was up and running. Not saying we didn't run into errors in the system or kinks in the system. But by and large, she was pretty good to go.
Right, is she licensed?
No. That's why everything comes from me. So, you don't have to have a licensed admin, but if they write anything on your behalf, something goes sideways, it's not her on the line, it's you.
So you just look.
Because she,
Legally, she can write it up.
yeah, she's just filling in the blanks, yeah. Because nothing's in her name. It's my .loop, because we use .loop, it's my .loop account, all that. So
So will you guys share those binders?
you'd have to talk to Mr. Pressler. That's his team. This team says systems. I mean, all we do is follow the MREA book. So
That was you said this, the lady's an assistant, right?
she's our admin, yeah.
An assistant.
Hmm.
Where did this lady's local or?
Maureen,
Mhm.
yeah, we've met her.
Oh, yeah.
So when you kind of think back at your time in the business, and some of us have only been licensed a couple months, so we might not be able to answer this, maybe we can. But what's the biggest struggle you've had since you got into real estate, or if you've been in this a little bit longer over the last year?
Last month, so that was the problem I was having. And I wouldn't say I was giving all my answers, but recently I was focused on talking about people. So that's the additions.
Mhm.
So something I didn't know, like, I knew I'd been talking with you, but I thought with people, so now. I had to-
Yeah. And if you think about that, go back to here, the positioning battle, right? So now you're putting yourself in that conversation. You're fighting for that position in their mind. And when you think about this, and this will be in your guide, 76% of sellers contacted one agent, 16% contacted two. 59% of all buyers contacted one agent. I think that's even a higher stat now. 22% contacted two. Being first matters. You cannot wait for the phone to ring. You might get a deal or two here and there. Being new in the business. Now, again, when you get to like year 3, 4, 5, you might get referrals coming in. But that's because you won the position battle with client number 1 that's now sending you these referrals. Being first matters.
Systems. How many people I talked about?
This is where, again, we'll focus a lot on command today, but all that we're going to be talking about through command, you can take that and if it's a paper system or whatever you're using or Mojo dialer or whatever kind of stuff you're using, it will be transferable. So chapter 2, let's take a small break. I'm going to get some water. Let's use the restroom and then we'll get going on chapter 2.
They use it in surgery, actually.
Yeah. kind of.
Got some money that we-
All right, back to. So building your database. So now we've talked about just the pitfalls of lead generation. What's your value proposition? Why we need that balance of prospecting and marketing. So now we're doing all this prospecting and marketing. Now the people are coming in. So now we're building our database. We do it right. Your business is your database. You get into your task list every day until that thing is empty. Then you don't have to question, did I forget to contact someone? Number 2, we're going to focus on command for that. But again, if you're going to use something else, feel free to take that kind of concept and go. And then set up systems that incrementally grow your contact database. As you go through this first year or two of really being in this business, keep track of your numbers. Like, how many conversations do you have before you get to an appointment on average? How many houses do you show on average before you get to a closing? This is all good information because you can start taking those conversion rates and saying, all right, I need to find 180 people to talk to this year to get to my 20 closings or whatever it happens to be. Then there's some people, if they get 5 deals a year, they're happy because this is a part-time job for them. They're just like, hey, this is my vacation fund or my retirement fund or whatever. Fantastic. Then we got people want to close 2 or 3 months. Great. You got to decide what your goals are and then build a database that will allow you to achieve that. So if you don't do it that way, then you're just hoping and praying that you get there. This puts you in control of how much you're bringing in. The 4 laws of lead generation. Build a database. So you got to have a house for them to go to. Feed it every day. So Ignite starts this Monday. At the end of every Ignite session, we do the daily success system. 10 people new a day into your database is the goal.
Use an example of how you, let's say, okay, it might be easy the first couple of days. Let's say you're 2 weeks in of doing that. I would wake up today, I'm gonna find 10 people today. And I'm gonna
Go back to chapter 1, the prospecting and marketing. So prospecting, you're doing one-on-one. If you're relying on that every single day, that's going to be tough. But if you do a nice mix of prospecting and then you have marketing out there consistently, or again, if you decide to do every other week, it should be bringing those people in. So as you're tracking these results, you need to reinvest in the stuff that's working and cut out the stuff that's not working. So that's the idea with this database. When you're feeding it, you should know it was from this postcard. It was from this social media ad. Hey, I met this person door knocking, because you can run reports based on your lead source. Say this method is working really well. So again, if you're doing open houses at least a couple weekends a month, you should have ads running perpetually around that. If you don't have your own listings, see if somebody will let you run ad around listings on social media. Look at that list of 150 ways to prospect and market. That's how you're going to bring in 10 new people, 5 days a week. It's got to be a mix of prospecting and marketing. But if you rely on yourself to just go out and meet 10 new people every single day, that will be tough because there's only so many places you can go. Communicate with it in a systematic way and service all the leads that come your way. Let's focus on that a little bit. Does everybody get the same level of service all the time?
No.
Then if they're 18 months away, you just want to periodically check in with them. So the idea with feeding your database all the time, you're going to start having closings kind of scheduled out for the next year or two. Because these people are truly 18 months away. All right, well, there's a paycheck for 18 months from now. These people are in the next 30 days. Hey, here's my paycheck this month. Great. But those people that are buying this month should get a lot more than those people 18 months from now. But this is getting to number 3, that systematic way. As they move through your funnel and get closer to being an active buyer or seller, the communication should pick up. Farther away from activity, maybe we automate it more. So weekly email or a smart plan or automated text or whatever it is. Save search. So one of the things I like to do, especially if they're inside of a year, but even at 18 months, I'm like, hey, about once a week, if you're okay with that, I'm going to send you results that might match kind of what we've talked about that you're looking for. That way, when the time comes, you got a feel for the market, what's out there, what things are selling for, how quick they're selling for. Is that going to be okay with you? By and large, everybody's okay with that. I'm not going to pester you every day. Why do you think I do it that way? Go back to like our very first part of this class. The house drives the action. They might see a house in 6 months that I sent them and this is perfect. Let's go buy it. So that's one of my touches that I have with people that are far enough away. One, it puts my name in front of them. I'm still providing value. If they decide to move up their timeline, even though, you know, we did all the qualification, that 18 months seemed like the legit time frame, maybe they can find a way if the right house pops up. Contact information. You may not get all of their information at first. You might meet somebody at an open house. All you have is a first name and a phone number. Over time, you get an email address, a last name, where do they live, things like that. So you should always be updating your database. And if you want to take it really far, get customized fields. Where do they work? What do they do? What's their job title? You can keep track of that kind of stuff. Are you friends with them on social media so you can have their social media handles on there? Then you see that they got, you know, a promotion, send them a card. Hey, saw you got a promotion. That's awesome. Congratulations.
Yeah, I got a quick touch. I always send out Christmas cards every year. Here's a quick touch and nurturing somebody. I had to call like 5 people because I didn't think I had the right addresses. And I just called them and say, hey, I need your address so I can send you a Christmas card. That was a quick touch. There you touched them.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Good.
So a good CRM gives you quick access. So if you think about the command app on your phone, you can do essentially everything that you need to besides writing an offer, which you can do on your phone. Very difficult. Try not to do it. But a worst case scenario, if you have to, you have to. Yep. So, but what is nice about using the command app are a few things. One, it directly links to command. You can tap on the phone number in the contact. It's going to call them from your phone number, not some other phone number. As soon as you end the call, it's going to ask you to add the activity. So it's asking you to put notes and all that kind of stuff, which is something you should be doing, even if they don't answer. Hey, called, didn't answer, left voicemail. Called, didn't answer, sent text or whatever. Hey, called, we had a great conversation about problem. Same thing with texting. You text through the app, same thing. You text from your phone number, but it asks you to add that activity right afterwards. So again, you're getting into this thing. Now your timeline starts filling up with all these different conversations. So you remember what you've talked about. So you're not going back to the same conversations over and over. Because some clients, again, you're going to be talking to for 6 months, a year, 2 years, and hopefully even longer than that. Because even after they've sold a house, we should still be staying in touch with them. And everything you need is there. Gives you a centralized location for all that information. What houses are they at? So I got an investor, he's got a few properties, so I have his main address. So if I want to send out holiday cards or whatever, but I have all his rental addresses as well.
So we can be completely transparent in this room, right?
Correct.
Copy. I am absolutely sucking at this because I have a mindset of all or nothing.
Mhm.
And I have got to get this mindset changed. Like I think I told you a while back ago that by year 2 and 3, I was gonna look back at my year 1 and see a whole bunch of business that I missed.
Mhm.
Because like, if I can't send every single person a Christmas card, I'm gonna send nobody one. Like, or, you know, it's just a mindset that I have, and I got to get this changed. Like, I really struggle with this. Like,
Done is better than perfect.
I'm
Hard.
I am very much an all or nothing person.
Only send your have nets. That's what I do. See, I separate the haves. You read the MREA and the haves.
I mean, it's not about Christmas
Yeah.
cards. Like, I mean, it's about following up and all of these things of touches and all of this stuff. I'm just not doing anything because I'm not there. And I might cry right now.
That's okay.
Because I
You're in a
hate
safe place.
being vulnerable like that. Because people like, oh, you're doing so great, and then behind the scenes, I'm wondering if you really knew. I'm
I
not
feel
doing
that.
that
You feel,
great.
hey, I totally agree. Sometimes I feel like I don't know what I'm doing. And then I'm like, I know all these checklists, I know all these systems, and I follow them, and I've designed it along this system. And I'm like, I know what I'm doing. And then you get the client that loves you and buys you dinner after closing and gets the card and gifts and, you know, but yeah, so I totally understand. Sometimes you feel like I just don't know what I'm doing. But you gotta follow these systems because it sets it up to ABC them. Just learn how to ABC everybody And you'll be, Ignite teaches ABC, don't they? Yep.
Yep.
Everybody's gotta be in one of ABC.
Yep.
Every one
I
of
think
them.
it's a phony sometimes.
See, that's, you ever get that out of
Yeah, right.
Like, to be completely honest, I do, like, I mean, I'm on town council now, I'm a real estate agent, I feel like, how the heck did I get here? Do they really know what goes on in my head sometimes? Like, I mean, seriously, like, I feel like, do I really belong here? And I know the answer,
Can I ask a question?
I know the answer, but it's, I get here and I struggle with some of these details, like really bad.
Question.
Yep.
So I went through pure hell when I was growing up, a lot of bad stuff. And I was always told that I wasn't making it. And I was seeing my brother and sister and everything. I had my own stuff. Does this come from your childhood? I don't know the answer, but is this something that you think you gotta do it and you're going to ease up? Because you're winning, okay?
Everything happens so fast. I haven't, like, everything happens so fast. It for me, like, I went from a trailer factory worker and to a profession. Does that make sense? Like, so at times I'm not really sure who I am. Can I just say that? Dang it, man. It's for like,
Just follow command. It tells you what to do. Use command.
Well, that's why I just pulled this up. That's why I just
Right,
pulled this up.
on your phone. That's all you gotta do every day. Follow your tasks. Every day I have 40 to 60 tasks.
I only
And I,
have
but
that.
right now I'm behind 120 because I'm becoming slack.
Yeah.
My wife let me take the first 2 days of the new year off. You're staying in that advance, okay?
Oh, dang.
You know, so I'm 120 tasks behind. You should always be task behind.
I don't have that.
You need
I
that.
know.
Use that app right there.
So it's a new
That's
year.
your solution. You
It's
need
a new year, so you're gonna start a new system, right? So this is my command right here. If you look at, and this is in the app as well. Top left corner, leads never contacted. So we've talked a lot about social media ads. Somebody comes in, if you have your notification set up, you'll have a notification that, hey, John Smith just registered. But right there, leads never contacted, that will start populating. Recently active. Now, if there's been somebody that's got back on your website after a while, started looking at houses, this is why it's important to put them into your environment. So your safe search, get them downloading your app, get them on your website. You're going to see that. So you can click there. Their birthdays, their anniversaries. It's very simple to do, but this just gives you a very, who is active.
Keep them off Zillow, baby.
Right. Because again, if they go to any other site, they can get pitched to another agent again. So
And
yeah. But as soon as you have a conversation with somebody, put them in your database. All the stuff that you know,
On,
and then put a follow-up.
get in command, I'm telling you, it'll be your solution. You'll be like, oh my God, it's so awesome.
But
So-
let me give you a tip. This is my 2 cents on it, so you can take it or leave it, but, I just got back. One of my, he's down there mentally. And he's got his whole, he got KW, his own brokerage commercial real estate side, got the renovation stuff, and he told me, he said, look, whatever your superpower is, so your superpower is you meet people, you meet clients, right? And you know, you do this thing, like I can talk to people, I'm pretty social. Also, though, you're probably not gonna be so good at this thing. So like everything that people say, and when he said this to me, I was like, come on, I didn't think about this. All these things have to be done. You're gonna meet people, and Mike said this to me about a couple months back, but I'm not gonna do that. He was like, look, you need to, once you have a little bit of progress a little bit, you need to hire that stuff out. So they have somebody. So you're gonna rack it. I don't know how many times I say, okay, you know what I'm gonna do? I sit here, I'm gonna go through command. I get like 10 minutes in. I'm like, shh. So I can't do it. I can't do it. And so I'm like, I can't do it. I was like, so I literally hit you up. I'm about to go I'm gonna figure the executive thing out. And I'm like, look, this is what I need. I said, me and my wife said, make a list. This is 100. These are my people. I was like, look, you go into my command. Here's my login. I just need you to, when you're done with this, I'll pay you X amount of bucks. If I don't have, I need everything here. This is what I need. And just tell what you need. I need, make sure that this person, I have their phone number, email, address, how many kids, this and other, and then tag them. So you basically you're gonna do what Brian is telling us. and say, and when you get done with that, give me a follow-up report. So you go back and you go out and you go beyond. And then they come back to you and they're like, okay, you gave me a list of 50 names. We're missing Jackie's address, or we're missing this person's email address.
So we just did this in our database on our team. And you can't, I don't know if you make it. We're cleaning up our database. Need address, need phone number, boom, 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 master list. So these are clients that we've transacted with ever since Visibility Group started. This actually goes back to when Scott got in the business in 2007. Goes all the way back. When we want to send out a mailing to everybody, we just filter by master list, export it, Christmas cards go out. When do people start thinking about selling? About 7 years in, right? 5 to 7 years. Well, we can filter by year. So if we want to start looking for listing opportunities, we'll start reaching out to them about year 5. So we'll start looking at people who bought from us in 2018 and further back. Hey, have you thought about selling? Well, let's go here, add contact. And you can see how detailed you can be. And again, sometimes you won't have all this in the beginning, but what's their full name? Even add a relationship. So if it's a son, a husband, a wife, or whatever. Primary email, lead source is a big one. So where are these leads coming from? So you can run a report. What marketing is working? What prospecting is working? Tags, you hit on tags. In a couple clicks, you should be able to segment your database to who you want to talk to. So is it an investor, somebody looking to buy at the lakes, whatever it happens to be. And then if you've never talked to them, so you got their information somehow.
Thought they need to clean or here.
Other, yeah.
Like this one was really clean.
So if you've never talked to them, mark them as a lead, because then you can filter by just your lead. So when you get to the Mets and have not Mets yet, now you get to your call time for have not Mets. So now you go filter by your leads and start calling those people. Make a note of every call. Change them from a lead to a contact. Under add more information, you can put all their addresses in here.
Where do you teach tags? I could use more information on those. I just learned about those about 6 months to a year ago.
We just had actually Mike Hillary last year. Yeah, he was just here this past year to teach them. But what specific would you like to know?
Just overall, like I said, I just started.
Yeah.
I just learned the power of them like maybe a year ago.
So for every person in here, it's going to work a little different. The biggest thing, because we ran into this on our team where we got way too tag happy, and then it just became so confusing. And then there's like 3 tags for certain things because we've worded it slightly different. So find that fine line of like too many tags versus not enough. But the idea is you should be able to segment your database in 2 clicks. So you go to filters, tags, pick what you're looking for. So an investor, home buyer, you could do price ranges if you want for what they're looking for, but that starts getting into maybe a little bit too much. But you got to figure out how would it work best for you to segment your database.
I had 200 some tags.
Yeah.
My system was auto generating.
Right.
And a lot of them do, like you said, I had to clean up all that.
Yeah. So I mean, you can see we have a lot, but again, most of it's by year. But you can get to where, I mean, it's just too many, but we have investor, we have lakes, and we're going to start getting into like price ranges. And that's probably about it, besides that they bought in this year, sold in this year, or whatever happens to be. And then we created the master list task because we wanted to know like every person that we've used. So again, here's one of my investors. So you can see right here at the bottom, here's his home address. Here's some of the rentals. Here's the mailing address. Here's the legal name. Here's all the deals that we've done with them on the timeline. So I can go back and in 2 minutes of reviewing, know exactly everything we've did and done with this person. It's that important to be that organized. So it's good that you're acknowledging that you're like, hey, here's my shortcoming. But you also need to figure out, where do I want to spend my time? Maybe an executive assistant is an answer because this isn't everybody's cup of tea, but it needs to be done. But do you have somebody that does it for you? Like, hey, add this person in there. But at the end of the day, going to your tasks, this has to be your to-do list for every day. It can't be off memory. This is built properly, whether you build it or an executive assistant builds it. This is your to-do list every single day. And it should be empty at the end of each day. And if it can't, reschedule it for a different day. And you can take it as far as, look at the priority list. You can start your day by classifying all your priorities. What's high, what's medium, what's low. Start with all the high priority stuff, knock it out. Then you get to the medium. There's gonna be days, nobody's perfect. You're gonna get to a day where not everything's done. Reschedule them, and it should be the low priority stuff. So, any questions inside of command? But again, this is the app and the website will keep you super organized. And the app coming so far took away all the excuses why we can't do this. This is the whole thing. So you can finish a meeting, finish an open house, go sit in your car, put everybody in from that open house, send them a text right away. You should tag them 1336 Gateway Open House. Then if you want to follow up with those open house people, you can just filter by that tag. You know, and that could be a lead source as well. So you could do either or. I'd recommend probably doing lead source on that kind of stuff because then you can process. But again, you guys do however works best for you and how you like to organize. But at the end of the day, this task box, it's going to be on your phone. It's going to be on the website. So there's no reason we can't get it done. So even if you drive a bunch, go through your calls. Add notes. Leah.
Nobody on Zoom.
Yeah, it's like that.
Yeah, Leah Zeller, she's up in South Bend. Yeah, and you can see how old this slideshow is. I always like this text me. Not seen one of those in about 20 years.
What's PDA?
It's like the old like Palm Pilots back in the day. It's like that was pre-iPhone. Yeah.
One of them.
Yeah.
It's my BlackBerry.
So
I can drive and email on my BlackBerry.
all right, so building your database. For advocates. So now we're getting into, that's your sphere. These are the people that really want you to succeed. And then you build out from there. Allied resources, lenders, things like that, networking, and then you get to the haven't met group on the outside. So every day should start working on the inside of that circle, and then you work your way out. May not be a bad idea during your week, though, to start on the outside and work your way in. Again, it depends how you want to time block your day. And I'm going to keep talking about time blocking because that has to be part of your system for lead generation. There's got to be a time when you turn off your notifications, put your phone in focus mode or whatever you need to do. And you truly just call your clients that need to be called, not clients under contract, not anybody else. Call the people that you need to talk to and follow up. The call comes in about a deal, you need to just ignore it. You'll get to that later. It's very important that you protect that time. And if you're not feeling calls for that day, what I always tell people to do, start with a call or two that you're looking forward to, not business. Call your sister or brother, a parent, spouse, or whatever. Have a call that goes well to get you in a good mood. Then plow through your calls and then wrap it up with another call you're looking forward to. So growing your database, enter the contacts as soon as you meet them, because we have a lot going on in all of our lives. You should enter them right away so that you don't forget anything. Don't wait 3-4 days.
I just thought of it. Just have your clients register themselves. Just send them your app. You just send a link, because I had 2 on New Year's Day. I don't know that registered, but I don't even know who they were. I'm still trying to get a hold of them. They're not answering. But yeah, just send them your app and they can register, and then they're in your thing.
Right.
Oh, I just thought of that.
Okay, could do- but you still gotta work in the system though. So you gotta add reminders, yeah.
Yeah, but, yeah, that.
But to be fair, in any situation, I think the app, you just remind literally. About that, I talked to the guy today, I want to wait to. Listen to him today, he's not in the system. Like, you just said, well, yeah, put him in.
Exactly.
Yeah, you still gotta put them in and write it up. How are you writing up offers?
She puts them in when they write them.
I get to that point. I mean, I'm making the deal happen. It's the leads and all the other people that I'm not following up with that I could probably be doing business with that I'm missing the.
And this is based on that conversation, but this is directed to everybody in the room. Is it worth $30,000 to take time every day to work on your database?
Yeah.
Or 30,000 a year, I'm sorry. So if you miss 3 deals a year because we didn't do this stuff, you just gave away $30,000.
Isn't it like each person's worth like 200,000 of their lifetime?
You do it right. So use that as your motivation when you don't want to do it.
I wanna do it so bad that it's not funny. It's not that I don't wanna do it. It's that focus that I struggle with. You know, like
But again, as we start-
struggle with focus, like it's, and then I beat myself up over.
But as we start thinking about building a team and creating this leverage, maybe that's something that, because we need to know what our strong suits are and we need to know what's not.
Superpower, what's your superpower?
It isn't this.
So when you hire your first admin, that needs to be their strong suit.
Right.
Social media marketing is your strong suit.
Mhm.
It's not mine. So like, instead of, I would hire somebody that is their strong suit. Because me trying to learn it, I have less than zero interest in.
If I can get this done, either me or someone else, my confidence level is gonna go through the roof.
Well, your stress
I
level
know
will
that.
go down. That's the big thing. But at the end of the day, then though, you gotta still get into it every day and work through the tasks and then add new tasks. So they may build the database, but you still, it's gonna all be on your shoulders to call the people,
Mhm.
to follow up and add notes. So there's only so much of this that you can leverage out.
You said is it worth 30, I got that, you said it's worth $30,000 to do what?
To work in your database, because that, if you lose 3 to 5 deals a year because we miss people, like with the person you just put in,
Right.
just pretend they're worth $6,000 to $10,000 a commission.
Right.
So use that as your motivation. It's like, the average pay in Fort Wayne's about 48,000 or something. So you're talking about somebody's yearly salary that we're leaving on the table just because we didn't do it right.
Do time block money.
Oh, I'm working on that too. I have one.
We're very similar as far as like getting focused. You have all the things and then sitting down and doing the things for a few minutes. So I don't know, but for the last few days, I've been doing this and it's been really, really helpful. I put the focus time on my phone. And so like, I couldn't even tell you how many times I've sit at my computer and I've got a task in front of me that I'm doing and I just go to like look at my phone and I'm like, I can't do anything because all my apps are turned off. So I can't get on Facebook, I can't get on Instagram. And it's like, oh, yep, that's right. Because right now, this is what I'm doing. And then I have tasks set up on my phone that's telling me from 9 to 9:30, I'm working on my mailers for my farm. And then at 9:30, I'm done with it. I can't do anything for longer than 30 minutes, or I'm gonna be here and there and everywhere. And that has helped me so much.
So you know that now. So you're like, I'll do 20 to 30 minutes. I'm gonna get up, do something,
Yeah,
then I'll come back.
yeah.
And your phone can be the biggest tool or the biggest detriment to your business.
It's only been like 3 days, but it has felt like the most productive 3 days for me. And it's the little things, because now I have a task, like it's stupid. Oh, I picked 4 mailers yesterday to go out to my farm. I had spent a half an hour doing that, but I can get lost in Canva all day. So that was really helpful for me because now like after that time, I'm done. I was able to check it off, felt accomplished and move on to the next thing. So that's helped, but
Did you just read the one thing?
I have, not
Okay.
recently.
That's the one. Have you read the one thing yet? You need to read the one thing. She's using a lot of philosophies.
That is.
It's funny, I'm hearing Keller's written all this. All you gotta do is,
Yeah.
I did this before I came to Keller Williams, was I followed Keller Williams stuff. That's what I knew. Kind of was gonna eventually end up Keller Williams because he just paved the pathway.
Since you brought that up, I mean, the essence of the one thing book. They're going to all these executive meetings, leadership meetings, and everybody would have 5 tasks, I think it was, at the end of the meeting, come back, nobody did anything. They went down to 4, to 3, 2, when you finally got to, at the end of the meeting, you have this one thing, you have this one, then everybody was doing it. So it's a sense of being overwhelmed. When you feel like you're already buried, the chances of you going out and doing are slim to none. Because you feel buried. And I think that's, again, since you brought all this up, that's probably where you're feeling. So you feel like the dump trucks already came and piled on me, and now I'm trying to dig out. But even if we get you an admin that'll build the database, you still have to work in it. That can never be leveraged out. Because you're the face of the
Yes.
business. All of you are the faces of your business. And if you're not the one making the calls, they don't know who you are. You are the business. So certain things can be leveraged out, building it, feeding it, that person can do for you, but contacting it has to be you. All right. So this is kind of a spin off the funnel from the MREA book. So we've met them 8 by 8 to build the relationship. Then it goes down into 33 touch, repeat business referral. Right hand side, we've not met. So we go to a 12, this talks about direct mail. Again, this is from 2004, the slideshow. Don't know why it's not been updated, but this should be something else. Phone calls, text, emails, but whatever it is, stay in front of them along with calls. And then that leads to new business. And then you can see that circles back around to now, let's maintain that relationship and then work our way back. Should always have people coming into the top of the funnel and always business coming out the bottom. So when it's coming out the bottom, that means you're having closings. But in this model, it always goes back to these people are now contacts that you should still stay in touch with. One of the most mind-blowing stats I've ever seen is over 80% of people within a couple of years of buying their houses can't remember the name of their agent. They got their commission check, ran for the hills, never talked to people again. That's the easiest repeat business if you do it the right way. That's such an easy way to get business. Why we're not taking advantage of that as an industry, I don't know why. But the most successful agents in our market are doing that. Again, 12 direct, so that includes mailing lists. So if you're farming the area, it's highly leveraged form of lead generation. So if you want to think about like door knocking, things like that would be another good one. And once a month, they should be reaching out to you. So that's a 50-to-1 conversion rate. So you can, any marketing thing that we do should be built to work for you. So to suit you. So time block to do it. Or are we going to outsource it? Allied Resources co-sponsorship. So lenders are big in co-branding, right? So what if you split the cost of some of this that has cost attached to it, and you have both of your logos at the bottom? They take 50%. You take 50%. Sometimes these lenders have built-in marketing departments that will design all this for you, and the mailing list as well. So build those relationships, and then there's plenty of sources out there where you can get the mailing list if you're going to, target a neighborhood. Breakthrough Broker being one, things like that. But again, it can't be one mailer one time and just hope for the best. There's got to be some type of system around. 8 by 8. Again, set us that time block, and we've been talking about that. Set up specific times to do all these things. Schedule mailings before your calls. Assign date and team member in your. So if you're on a team, who does this lead go to? And then it should transition to 33 touch program. So if you think about smart plans that can do a lot of this for you, when one smart plan ends, it can automatically enroll them into the next smart plan. Again, you don't even have to worry about doing it, but think about that system. You want them to go from this smart plan to this smart plan. That's essentially what this is talking about here, because both of these are smart plans inside of Command. And then customized plans. So what are we going to be focusing on? For sale by owners, expireds. We cannot pursue withdrawn listings because those are still under contract, so ignore that. Follow up for prospective buyers or sellers.
Can't go after cancel. That should be canceled instead of withdrawn.
Both are
Canceled, you can't.
canceled, you can,
Yeah,
but not withdrawn.
correct.
Why?
Because you're still under contract. So you might withdraw, let's say Brad's got a listing and they need to fix whatever it is. So they might take it off the market for 7 days. They're still under contract with them. They're just not actively showing. So MLS rules is you can't go more than 24 hours without allowing a showing. People do it, but
You can, you just have to be fair with the public. You have to
Right.
work with Joe on it.
yeah,
I've done it before. I've had some weird ones where we only allowed showing once a week from 4 to 8. But because we were allowing the same thing to the public,
right.
it has to be available to the public.
It's gotta be an even playing field.
Yeah,
Well, that and you can't have him see it when everybody else can't. So that's the idea with in the like when you're marketing a listing. So listed coming soon. You can write an offer, but it's gotta be sight unseen. We've had some agents get pinched because somebody called them like, hey, saw the sign. We're busy this weekend. Can we go see it? Then they go see it on Tuesday when it doesn't go live till Friday. They write an offer and then it's under contract before nobody else had that chance. That person
pocket listed it.
essentially, right?
Yeah.
That's why for years they never allowed listing coming soon. Then a couple of years ago, they changed it.
A question about expired.
Yeah.
This is obviously the season of expired listings.
Mhm.
Do you just, if it expired like 12/31, would you be calling to try to get them under contract?
And I,
Yeah,
Okay. Just, I'm in a small market.
Yeah.
So, just,
Yeah.
I know most of those agents
right,
and,
they didn't get the job done.
right, yeah,
what is it? You can be first, you can be smarter, or you can cheat. In real estate, being first always wins.
I like
That's
that.
3 ways to life.
So the idea there is, one, you gotta have a way to get the information.
Mhm.
So generally got to buy some type of thing, or you can do a lot of research to figure out how to get a hold of them. Then it's, what are you gonna say to them? So again, get back to scripting. Say, what do you think didn't go right to where the house didn't sell? Again, be careful not to throw that agent under the bus. Because again, we don't know that relationship and like if somebody called me and was bashing that agent for not getting the job done, I don't know you either, so. So you wanna keep it positive, right? So why didn't it sell without the opportunity to try to earn your business, what kind of angle are you gonna take? So 33 touch, again, this is 2 to 3 times a month, they're gonna be hearing from you. The newest one against 36 touch, then you can see research goes to, for every 12, you get two meetings. So there's a lot there. So again, you got a system built around it all. So this is happening automatically. Again, this is a smart plan inside a command. Lead management. The funnel. So they're coming through your funnel. You're assigning them, you're tracking the source, and then you're tracking their activities. That's it. So as we've been talking about the lead in the database, put them in your database as they come in your funnel. They're going to assign them to you, like unless you're running a team. Where did that source come from? So again, an open house, a mailer, is at their house working on it and find out they're looking to sell. And then you got to track these numbers. Go back here where it's, 12 to 2. You should be able to, after a year of doing this and even quicker, you should be able to know when a lead comes in, how many times have I converted that person to an appointment? So for every 50 leads, am I getting 5 appointments, 10 appointments? You should be able to track those kind of numbers. What source is working best for me? And how many closings am I on track for? So if you think about opportunities, this is where you would track that information along with adding activity to your client. So as soon as you have a good two-way conversation with the person, the system should be put them into command, create an opportunity. You don't have to connect it to DocuSign yet, but put them in the right phase in the funnel and opportunities. This is where your goals on the homepage of command start filling up. That will allow you to see how much business do I have coming in, what does my pipeline look like, and things like that. This is where you'll be able to get these kind of conversion rates. So this will be page 64 of your book when you guys get it. But think about this. What system am I going to use for each of this? Again, if you're using command, pretty straightforward. If you're going to use something else, how are you going to design this? It should be a nice little flow chart system, just like we saw in that funnel. That was a nice little flow chart. It should be that simple. And your lead management system drives all of this. So we're gonna do 5 more minutes, and then we're gonna cover the rest of this chapter, and then lunch will be here at noon. And then we should be done between 1:45 and 2.
I was like, you just got like, you got a secret weapon here, you got.
It is.
So he's like, I'm not killing about the secret weapon.
But the great admin is that secret weapon, because a lot of people don't even know they exist. They're the behind the scenes person keeping you on task.
Yeah.
So when you think about this right here, so let's get to our scorecard. So think about this in your head. What kind of score are you going to give yourself? From communicating in a systematic way to servicing all the leads that come your way.
Is this a 1 to 10?
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm gonna check it out. Sure.
And then this is where you need to be brutally honest with yourself, not to bring yourself down,
No.
but to think about it and, okay, this is where I can get better. Accountability, you guys were just talking about.
Next Thursday.
So you need that accountability. Find a partner. This is another great reason to come to script and role play, because you're gonna meet agents that are obviously looking to build their business as well. You could do script and role play, practice together. Be like, hey, did you call your 10 people today that you wanted to talk to? Or did you call the potential admin? You can get to that kind of relationship with these agents that will help hold yourself accountable.
Brian, is that script role play? I haven't talked to Dan, is that repeating every week the same day and time here and then Zoom, same day?
Correct.
Okay, I just want to double check.
Yep.
Thank you.
All right, so as we get going into chapter 4, and this will be our last chapter before lunch. So objectives. Again, understand the strategy. What's your clear, cohesive, and consistent message? Think about all the big companies out there. You could probably, so if I say McDonald's, what's their slogan? What's their message? It's on everything. It's on the coffee cups, it's on the Coke cups, it's probably on the wrappers, it's in every single commercial, it's on social media ads. That's what you guys need to think about. What is your call to action? Number 3, focus on seller listings. And diversify your marketing and prospecting to ensure stability. Because every methodology will go through ebbs and flows. So if we have a good variety, it will level out. So we were talking with Mike Hillary when he was here teaching his class, and he talked about focusing on seller listings. Do you guys remember what he was talking about as far as when you're running ads and things like that, what to focus on to get the seller listings? What are most sellers first?
Buyers.
So instead of focusing ads specifically about listing, it might be too late. Focus on bringing in buyers, and by virtue of that, you'll come across sellers. So that's an interesting perspective. If you think about open houses you've done, think about how many people have come through. Yeah, we're going to have our house sold and things like that, but we just wanted to see what's out there first. That's them in the buyer mentality first. They've not even thought about selling yet. They know they need to. They haven't even crossed that bridge yet. So I was like, pretty interesting mentality. So maybe you run ads around attracting buyers. And by virtue of that, you're going to get those sellers. All right. Talked about this, but there's no difference in the importance of them. Categorizing everybody you're coming in contact with is a vital part of lead generation systems. So if you're spending, let's just say $250 a month in mailers, multiply that by 12. That's about what, $3,000 about? Somewhere right about there. If you're spending that much money every year, shouldn't you know if it's paying off? If you're spending 10 hours of your weekends at open houses, shouldn't you know if that's working? It has to be a vital part of your system that you're building in, and we'll go through all the command stuff. Actually building everything, that'll be part of our afternoon session. But as soon as you put them in there, track how you met them. Where did they come from? And at minimum, once a month, you should be tracking those results. And if for 3 months in a row, this activity is not paid off, we need to either tweak it or just drop it all together and reinvest that money or that time into something else. Do any of you have your own logo in here for your real estate? You do, right?
What?
Logo.
Yeah.
Even if you're an individual agent, you guys don't be afraid to think about your branding as an individual agent. Build your brand, have that logo on everything. You don't want to have to go back and kind of reinvent the wheel as business gets going, and you can if you want to. So, but you can have a great logo, great messaging, things like that. So, 2 big words. Clarity of message. Again, this gets into our value proposition. What's that elevator pitch? Social media, how quick do you scroll through? Nobody's going like this, right? That's to me, just like going down the highway at 75 miles an hour.
See more.
What
Exactly.
would be an example? Like crafting the message, like, can we just throw out like 2 big words? What would that be? Like. You have
So there's one.
Vision.
vision, okay.
Would you say?
Reagan Stackhouse has a really good one. I kind of mirrored when I did mine. Have a vision statement and a mission statement.
Mhm.
We talk about the difference between those?
Yeah,
There is, but I couldn't explain it.
Okay, yeah.
2 big words. Like, I feel like that's like your,
And you could go, I mean, you could have like 4 or 5, but again, the idea is they're going by that message at 75 mile an hour and they gotta be able to read it, process it, and remember it.
Right.
And this is where going back a couple slides, consistency. And promoting your brand, it's gotta be consistent because it should be on your social media, it should be on any mailers, any emails, you could have the slogan at the bottom or whatever it is.
if I was like doing the whole list with masks, she'll sell it fast. That would work in like the summer, then all of a sudden I had 2 listings that ain't sold.
Just
And then
they don't know that. You gotta remember, they don't know that.
True.
I'm like, I
You
got
pay
2
more attention
listings.
to you than anyone else.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I can't say that no more because I got sitting there, but I was like, okay.
They don't,
It's fast.
That's subjective.
Yeah, that is, yeah, exactly.
could be like it's faster, yeah, exactly,
Back
exactly.
in 08, 6 months, all the house was fast. Interested for you in 08?
No,
When,
2016.
yeah,
I bought in 08, 09,
Stop over.
I wasn't an agent back then, but I remember the market.
I bought during that time.
A year.
yeah,
I
but
mean,
I wasn't
months.
licensed.
When it comes down to something like messaging as far as like your things, and everybody knows like Jeff, sell your home. I mean, it sounds corny, but it sticks, it sticks.
It does.
Or,
Seen that
you
yesterday.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you know, like, anybody would get upset about it, but
It makes me cringe.
Go back to that message for McDonald's we got, right? What was the message?
I'm loving it.
Does anybody really love McDonald's?
Yeah, I do.
Brian does.
I do not. I just see it because it's
We got
quick and easy.
Open a smile. We got dials.
well, I smiled with that, which I got from, actually Aaron, and it literally just came out. I was like, oh, and then like, so that one's mine.
Mhm.
But, so you have like your slogan,
Mhm.
but then like your elevator pitch. So a good elevator pitch would be like, Geico, what is it, like, 15 minutes more, save you 15% of your car insurance. So
Yeah.
that's their sales pitch, that's the elevator pitch. So if somebody wanted to get
Mhm.
car insurance for them, they're not gonna say, well, you know, if you bumble, they're not gonna give you the whole details. They're gonna, something really quick, like 2 cents.
Yeah.
So whenever you're doing your written stuff or whatever, like your slogan, you come up with whatever your slogan is gonna be. Might take a while, took me 3 years.
And that's a great slogan.
It is both, that 15 minutes a week can make it 50% more.
Well, I mean, that's your elevator pitch, or you put it on like mailers or whatever, you know, everybody has their thing, you'll figure it out.
And it can evolve. It doesn't have to, be, but in a window of time, it should be the same. Because again, you never know where they're going to connect with you from. Could be social media, it could be from an open house, could be from an email blast you did or whatever. That same message should be in all of them for that
Are
reason.
you on the real estate mastermind groups? Like Desmond White knows how to do it right. That's all they've been doing like the last 2 months.
Yeah.
All of them. Is everybody's,
But
these
their
real
name-
estate mastermind groups, I'm still in a bunch of them when I started.
And we just slipped in my air, can I got one? Let's step fast and fast, right, or sell it fast.
That's it. No, that's the whole fucking thing.
If I could sell it, sell it at home.
See, now I feel like I'm back to the back.
Sorry.
Let's go.
That is the thing. You never try to put anything else. Slipped in my eye. What is
Lincoln
it?
Meyer will find you the right buyer.
Yeah.
What's
A
your?
postcard would be like, see the other side. Like,
That's,
That when you change your name.
Better than this.
yeah,
That's what I've been going.
that's great.
I like it. I'm not clever, but so. But you're probably really organized though, right? I am. See?
Wow.
That dating gets you.
two different sides of it, yeah.
Ah.
See,
Oh.
I need to you.
Yes, I know, yeah, same.
But
Two different sides of the brain, right?
Right?
American shove them in there.
Right, like that. It's called a junk drawer.
that's my wife, my wife tells that. Her junk drawer.
Mine is not. I'll
It's on
take a
TV.
picture when I get home. Guys, she'll probably cringe. She'll be like.
My junk,
An hour later, you're going here. Yeah, we gotta fix that.
my junk drawer is my house.
Yeah.
Whole thing.
It's a mess.
So as you're crafting your message, keep these in mind. Speak to their head, to heart, humor, and
Oh,
Hard.
head,
But-
heart,
Yeah,
humor, hard.
Oh, like thinking? What head with it? What's hard?
I don't know.
You know.
Leave that up.
Brian, back up one slide.
Oh, yeah.
Hard to forget.
There we go.
Oh, shoot. You guys got me laughing.
Just gotta say what's slide up one.
So focusing on seller listings. They take generally a lot less time than working with buyers. That's the idea there. So then it gets down to what else can you do with it? How many houses are a buyer going to buy in a year? One, unless it's an investor, but we're not going to. Well, the seller's going to have to go buy something. Then you're going to have to sell their house. So right there's two. If you do your marketing around that listing, well, find somebody from that marketing or that open house, there might be 3 and 4 right there. So seller not only does it take less time, can turn into more deals, whereas a buyer is just going to buy the one house. The listing will get you more opportunities. And think about if you double dip the listing, right there is already 2, and then you got to sell that seller a house. Well, right there's 3, and then if you pick up anybody else, you might have 4 or 5 sites.
I've got a seller right now that I've got under contract. We're not gonna go live until like the 18th or whatever, but they're doing remodel projects. They've already put on social media that I'm their realtor. And they're tagging me in all of their, I said, I can't do this because it's not live yet. And I'm creating an unlevel playing field.
You can.
But you can't. They're tagging me in all their stuff, and he's the marshal of a town, like, he's got, you know, like, he's the local, so I'm like, I can't say anything, but you guys can do whatever you wanna do.
You're the owner of the home, you can.
Yep, so they're tagging me in all the stuff and all the remodel projects they're doing and getting ready for this listing, so. Yeah,
So, yeah, this gets into a different time frame. saying a higher selling price may not be the message now because everything's selling for close to asking price. But faster selling time and then value, what are you bringing to the table to work with your sellers? So we have some agents that they'll power wash the drive and they'll walkway up and the house if need be. Some people will pay for staging, some people will pay for a cleaner to come in and clean the house, whatever happens to be. But what's the value you're gonna bring besides put a sign in the yard and get it in the MLS? That's not enough.
He's a cleaner, he
Yeah.
just handed me his flyer.
Yeah.
so I'm doing this.
Yeah. And again, it turns into, you're at somebody's house, maybe you find out they're selling. Again, it's where these worlds can collide.
Or clean off a post code pay. Post code pay, you might.
He said about putting on the agent fee, right?
Yeah.
So it's-
Right.
So you can pay it close, that's all.
Yeah, that's cool. It's a good thing.
And we're getting into a more competitive market where it's harder to. But think about all these things, again, it's getting, where listings are still selling, but they're taking longer. Now there's some value back into pre-listing inspections, right? Is that something you're gonna offer? Maybe you cover half the cost, maybe you cover all of it. Maybe you cover a home warranty for the seller to be covered. I mean, there's all these different things that you can do. But being honest with our client, providing as much value, but whatever, like we said earlier, if you're gonna promise it, you better do it. The top 10 service areas, so your needs analysis. Why are we looking at selling your? Let's get to that. Or why are you looking to move? We're getting into motivation to even start the conversation. Why do you think that's first?
Why you sell your home with motivation down your ass?
Well, why is the needs analysis first? Like why are we sitting down having this meeting kind of conversation? Why do you want to start with that? Right. Because what if they said, hey, we're in a really tough financial position and we have to get this house sold? Fortunately, we're seeing that a little bit. People are just upside down. They got to fix it. Because that's going to drive everything in the next 9. Somebody's in a tough position financially, that might change your pricing strategy. How they're going to prepare the property, knowing that they have no money, even though there's a lot of work needing done at the house, they may not be able to do anything. They may not even be able to pay for like a junk removal person. We have a listing in the coaching program coming up probably in the next 2 weeks. That's exactly that situation.
How the heck do they let that happen in this market?
What?
We've went up 45% since COVID. You can't do over 80% LTV even on the refis. How the heck in this market do you, like that foreclosure I'm going to the foreclosure in Auburn later, and it's one of the few because you're starting it. How the heck do you get upside down in this market?
It's not necessarily that, in this case, I can only speak to this case. It's not necessarily they're upside down, but they started a remodel and spent way too much and they're halfway through it. And they have to leave the house.
So they have too much vested in it. It's not-
And there's no flooring in part of the house.
Yeah,
There's half the cabinets aren't in, I mean, it's just a mess.
I got
But
you.
they don't have any money to do anything with it. But again, understanding why you need to sell or why you want to buy, it's gonna drive all of this. So that's why you want to start.
And not waste your time.
And in a more positive note, why they want to move might be a very happy thing. And now you're getting them excited about, you get the big house out in the country, set on 3 acres of pond. They're excited about this. So you get them excited about that. Then we'll get to all this like more stressful stuff. So you get them talking about the exciting stuff first and then worry about the details.
And police hit a wall, single dad, recently had to get out of the guy's house. They really went to make sure he could get his daughter. And I was able to bring it down to the assistance. Most important plan.
Right.
Yeah.
And this is where these allied resources are important, right? And we're just talking about for one of your buyers. Understand what these different lenders can do. Was it your buyer? Maybe it wasn't. You
Talk about.
Diamond. Okay, I followed you. So having these allied resources where you know all these different programs and what lenders are willing to do what and things like that. You know, as we get into different situations with clients, we can help them. But again, that'll drive our pricing strategy. And again, I always say err on the lower side of the range and let the free market do its thing. Property preparation, your marketing strategy, and then walking through, hey, we got an offer, hopefully offers, and go through all that. But again, if we have all these things understood, especially those top 5 or top 4, we'll be in a really good spot. So pretty much everybody, I think, in here is on an individual agent basis, but you still have a team behind you. You have harmony. You have Lee as your managing broker. If you're on the coaching program, I'm there alongside you. You have 160 some other agents that if you post something on the private page, you're going to get help. Just look what happened in here when we're talking slogans and sayings and things like that. All of you are helping each other out. That's how it'd be on the private page. So you can even talk about, this is why I'm here. Because you're not hiring me, you're hiring all of us. That's not something for your marketing piece necessarily. Maybe it is. But in these sit down meetings, you definitely want to talk about that. There's too many agents go and talk about me. Let's talk about them. And then if they start asking questions about you, it's not just about you, it's about everybody behind you that's making sure this will be the best real estate transaction they've ever had. And I love this quote. Create the wow factor. Don't just get the job done. Think about a burger. You go and the burger's just all right. It's like, that was a base expectation, right? But if it's amazing or it's the worst thing you've ever had, you're going to talk about it. So just getting the job done, nobody's talking about it. Nobody's sending you referrals. So when you build these marketing pieces and have your system around that, again, there should be a system around it. When are you sending pieces out? How often are you talking to your clients? And as they move through the different buckets, so you're talking about the A bucket, the B bucket, the C bucket, as they move from bucket to bucket, that should change. But the goal of all the communication should be to wow. Talk about answering questions before they even think about the questions.
That's another reason for that analysis, instead of me saying, it's where I gotta get more positive on stuff, I gotta work on my emotion and happiness, I'm not good at that. But the needs analysis is also so you put them in the right bucket.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to be listing a house that they really don't want to move for another year or two. I had one of those where they thought it was gonna take 6 months to sell it. And I was like telling them that, hey, we're gonna have an offer in 3 days. And they're like, what? No, we don't want to move for 6 months. I'm like, okay, so we had to, it was a pain in the butt. Because we had to reverse gears because it was already on the market, so.
Yeah, and kind of tying into that kind of situation, we've actually had one not too long ago. We ended up helping them as a buyer because the listing agent really didn't have an understanding of any of this. Had their house under contract with no protections for these people. They had to close in 2 weeks. They didn't have a house to go move into.
They didn't know where to go, they weren't contingent, they should have been contingent.
That other agent, I don't know anything about them. I can't remember their name now, but were they new? Did they not understand how this works? Were they just excited to get a listing and come on, take this? These people are freaking out. They've literally gone homeless in 2 weeks, or they're going to be paying probably $200 a day to stay if they're even able to. This is why the needs analysis is so important, because, okay, let's list now. You don't want to move for 6 months. Okay, maybe we do find a buyer, but maybe our better strategy is this. Again, our goal is to give our clients all the options they have, give them the pros and cons, let them decide. Our job is not to decide for them. They just make the decision. We give them the options. We give them the pros and cons of all, and then they make the decision. They can never then come back to you and be like, well, you told me, no. I told you that, but I also told you all this other stuff. You chose this. I'm gonna pick on our situation about report. Rough deal. For sale by owner, the for sale by owner didn't work out. She ended up listing the house. Appraisal issues and all this. We get to the night before closing. She calls me. She's like, our seller is mad that she chose to go forward with this deal. Because what was it,
$40,000.
$40,000 appraisal cut. We gave her all the options. We can go back on the market, we can try to we challenge the appraisal, it never works, as you guys know. We did all this, here's your options, you can go back on the market, we can go forward. We can see if they're willing to do anything, and she ended up deciding, let's just get it done. Night before closing, she's second guessing her decision. This is why we don't make the decision for our clients. So you can be mad all you want, you can't be mad at us. So we gave you all the options, we're willing to go back on the market. We didn't force you into the situation. You put yourself.
I
This
didn't
is
say
what-
this to her, of course. What he's saying, I didn't say this to her. I mean, it was like.
Well, no, because we'll
it was
empathize with our
tiptoeing,
clients.
You know,
Yeah.
like I was very, like, I didn't say a whole lot to this woman, because she is very dominant, a very strong businesswoman. And I had to just be real small, and you know what I mean, and just like real quiet and real small, and we made it to the closing table. And I brought her a great gift. And we made it, you know what I mean, but yes.
How did you use her?
I didn't say you chose this, I mean, because she would have just, that was the way she would have
If I
reacted.
remember right, we were honest with her, that was like, you don't show, because we honestly, I think up until closing, we're like, this lady may not even, she may not show up. So, I mean, if I remember right, we told her, I'm like, if you don't show up, I mean, they can sue you for specific performance. And they
We
will.
already knew all that, I didn't
Yeah.
have to say much of
No,
anything, but yeah,
But if a seller gets sued for specific performance, they always lose.
yeah,
They have to sell.
Yeah.
Buyers can sue sellers for specific performance, and we've had a few over the years, and the seller always loses.
Sellers always gotta sell, the buyers don't always gotta buy.
Exactly.
Memorize that.
Yep.
If you don't already know that, so.
That's what the earnest money is for. It's like, this is my good faith deposit, I'm gonna go forward. If I don't for no valid reason. There you go. And this is why earnest money is negotiable.
They put a lien on the house. I just had one that we had to force the seller back at the table. And the lawyer was gonna, Tim Claxton was like, yep, no problem, they have to sell that house to him. Yes, we'll just put a lien on it.
Yep.
Yeah, that's great. It's, yeah.
I mean, you don't want things to get to these points, but sometimes they're just a pain in the butt.
okay, so, no, I got the listing because I had a buyer. And a cash buyer, and we put an offer on this house, and my cash buyer backed out, like 3 or 4 days before closing. But because of, communicating really well with them, and they're high profile, Fort Wayne high profile people. So it was nerve wracking for me, like, I mean, and so I mean, it was super nerve wracking, and, my buyer backed out with really no good reason, I mean, other than. She just said, I'm not doing it. She had emotional reasons, you know, like, yeah. So in this process, she said to me, because I was communicating with her well, you know, and I'm like, you know, I don't, what would you like me to do? She said, would you want to list the house? And, I did it for a little less commission than what I normally would, because I kind of felt bad, you know, because of the situation or whatever, but. The whole thing was a huge learning process, and I mean, it was catastrophic, because, and I don't know, it shouldn't matter who the client is, but they were pretty high profile, you know, and I was.
But it does matter, because sometimes those people feel like they can throw their weight around and get their way, and
Yeah,
that's not how the world works, so. But let's dial back for a second. Had a situation go sideways with the buyer, still turned it into a positive, got the listing.
yes, and it
This
was
is-
because of the way you talk to people, like,
Exactly.
you gotta read the room. You've gotta read the room. She is a strong businesswoman, you know, I mean, it's where this is, I mean, her husband's the sheriff of Allen County. And she runs the highway department. You know, and I was just like, whoo, I mean, like, and so just, it was, and like what you said, when we got to the night before, she's texting me and I'm just like. And I'm like, just deep breath, do not, totally non-confrontational with her. Because if she would have felt backed into a corner at all, she'd have come out with both barrels, you know what I mean? She was just that way. So you just had to be very non-confrontational. There was a couple times she texted me and it was real short and like, you know, and I just didn't respond. You know what I mean? I just let, and then she come back around, you know, I mean, it was a tough situation. $40,000 appraisal cut. It was a tough situation, and we made it to the table, and the other side, the buyer's agent Like, I got this huge email sent to me by that, like, way to go for getting us to the table and like, I mean, they were.
What did your client tell you at the end of the deal? At the end of closing?
My client, they were, yeah, she was really happy with, like, I mean,
We gotta ride our clients' emotions.
yes,
We let them be heard. I had we have one of our people in coaching out of the country, so I'm helping with the situation. I got this, lack of a better term, sorry for the language, a shitty text message. Something going sideways because work's being done on the house. We have nothing to do with the work. So I just. Here we go. So 5 minutes, just, you got to unload all the emotion, and at the end, she was perfectly fine. Sometimes you gotta just be the whipping post. And it is what it is. Now, you get, as your business goes, go all the way back to chapter 1. Surviving. And building. And when you get to thriving, these are the people you can decide, like, see you. I don't need you. This is why you never put all your eggs in one basket, is we're going through all this lead generation stuff. Put all your eggs into one basket, that deal goes belly up. Now you got 3 months to rebuild, to go find another deal, maybe longer. That's why you can't put all your eggs in one basket. This is why all throughout these different marketing, the prospecting sessions talked about the variety. You have to have the variety because you got to be bringing people in different phases. So if somebody goes or you decide not to work with somebody, you get to call that shot.
You're talking about my client?
I'm just talking about all of them.
I'm gonna clarify, I'm doing this calendar, right? This is gonna help you understand it. And real estate works in a cycle. January and February is expires. You need to concentrate on expires because that's expired season, like she said earlier. Then comes March and April, which is tax check first time home buyers. All your gubby people, hit them up because they just got a tax check. They now have down payment, they close costs. Then comes May, June, July, which is FISBO season, because everybody thinks they're a realtor and sell the house themselves. And then I'm starting to figure out these seasons now and what you need to focus on. And you do this by tracking your numbers. This is where we've learned when you start tracking where your stuff's coming from. He's right on that, folks. That's what I was working on because I got all messed up last year. I'll even 2023 can go in the trash can. 2024 now.
Yep.
To finish that conversation, I want you guys to understand, as hard as these clients work. She is on my social media. It doesn't matter. I mean, I'm just open like this. I'm a Republican. Her husband ran as a Republican candidate. She has congratulated me on my candidacy and getting elected. You know what I mean? So don't burn the bridge. As hard as it was to work with her in this, I feel like at some point in the state of Indiana, I will cross paths with them again. And when they walked into the closing room, there was a wall up. And this is part of our job. There was a wall up. I had never met him before, and he is the sheriff of this county, elected sheriff. He couldn't make didn't want to make eye contact. There was like this edginess, you know what I'm saying? By the time we got up and walked out of that room, he shook my hand, thanked me for the job that I did. And it was completely, it was just being really transparent with them, talked about things other than the deal. We didn't talk about the deal, the $40,000 price tag. We just was real open about life and politics a little bit, which they, we're on the same side. So that was a good thing. And just, I left feeling good about it, and they left feeling good about it. In a bad situation, nobody let their emotions get out of control, and, I was really grateful for that.
But were you watching your rearview mirror before that?
No, but you know what I mean. And
again, they never, they can be as mad as they want. And I get where you're going, but it's just like, let them feel all the emotions. But if we did everything, and in this case, we did everything properly. They can be mad all they want. We didn't make any decisions. We gave them all their options.
I like your comment about letting them just stand.
So that's why we gotta be that even keel. We can't rise, get our emotions up, and wait at it. So
Well, I told Brian going into that closing, we had a phone conversation real quick, and I told him what my goal was. I knew what it was gonna be like going into that closing, and I said, my goal is to leave here friends with you. You know what I mean? I wanna leave here feeling like we're friends, and I worked that room really, really hard, you know what I'm saying? Like, talked about kids and life and whatever, and they felt a personal connection when we left. And that was the goal, and we did it.
All right, we're on recap really quick and then lunches here, so. So chapter one, we figured out business of lead generation. Our business is lead generation. You gotta find the system that you want to use. That's why I gave you that 150 ways to prospect and lead gen. We got 1, 2, maybe 3 that you can focus. Make it a mix of marketing and prospecting. You need to be bringing these people in. Then when on your schedule are you going to be doing these activities? Then you're only building your database. So you're doing all these activities. People are starting to come in. Where are they going? Are they going to land? Or are they going elsewhere? Right after lunch, we're going to go through putting a client in, how to create tags, how to create lead sources, how to do tasks, and all that kind of stuff. Then work your database. When on your client box are you going to be calling? Part of chapter 4 will be going over scripts for the different clients they could be bringing in. We're not going to concentrate too much on scripts. That's what the script and open classes is. Again, come to as many of those as possible. If you got these people coming in, they did a great job. Make sure you know what to say to them. And when you're doing your marketing and prospecting, that's something you should be thinking about anyway. You got this type of marketing out there, and you know roughly what type of person you're getting in. A buyer, seller, an investor, a commercial person, whatever it is. So you should have some of these kind of scripts already figured out. And be marketing based, so marketing out there all the time. Be prospecting anyways. Remember, it's prospecting one-on-one conversations. That's enhancing the people you brought in to your market. To keep things all in mind is we building a system. So right now our systems need to be, how are we marketing ourselves? Where are we putting these leads as they come in? When are all these activities happening? And when are we calling them? And after lunch, we're going to cover all the basics inside of command, going over some scripting, and then getting into referrals. Sound good?
Yes.
All right. See what? I have no idea what we have. They said it's happening.
Next.
It is.
And you can only win a reconsideration of value. Yeah, that's
Right.
If they miss the bathroom, just a different square footage.
The most I
Otherwise,
have.
switch lenders.
Yeah.
You can switch lenders.
So that's what's up
I
there.
did that before. Did you go over that option?
But
You can make a buyer switch lenders. We did that. We ran through all the other options. That's the only other, that's an option. A lot of people don't know about that. I used it outside the box. We switched lenders.
Yeah.
your,
It was FHA. Was it FHA?
They wouldn't reconsider. They ordered the second one. They pushed back second.
I think it was an FHA buyer, wasn't it?
FHA stick.
Yeah, that's why we.
Yeah,
didn't
you
do that.
can't.
it was an FH.
Oh, God.
Remember that 6 for 60 days, or 19 days? 6
They
days.
just changed it back. I think they went down to 3 months. It was 6 months. Then it came down to 3 months during COVID. I think it's back to 6 months back. Always refer to the FHA handbook.
Yes. We're on start in command, so if you guys want to follow along, get logged in with me. So before we get on this session, any questions from the first half? Your calendar online. You can get to the training schedule. On the app? On here. Yep. All right, so what we're gonna walk through here, adding context, how to do lead sources, how to do tags. And then reminders as well. And we're gonna wrap that whole thing up with opportunities. And how that relates to goal setting. So again, kind of tying it all together. We did our marketing, we did our prospecting, we brought people in. So we're kind of picking up in chapter 2. Where do they go once we bring them in? So we're on starting contacts. And then add contact. So full name. And again, you want this to be as accurate as possible because all this will translate over to DocuSign. You spell their name wrong, it's going to come over. There's a middle initial on the pre-approval letter. There should be a middle initial in their name. Email needs to be spot on because this is where all the documents are going to go. Phone number, pretty self-explanatory. If everything in the command app's going to work properly for calling and texting, the phone number needs to be right. So the other reason, part of smart plans that you can buy is a Twilio subscription. That is where it'll automatically text your clients for you. It does not come from your phone number, though. It is a third number. You get to pick the number. It's always the same phone number. But that's why that phone number should be important. We just started. We're just putting a contact in command.
Trying to find out how we're gonna get yours. So I'm not kidding. I was trying to.
Get cookies.
Yes, but they didn't give us cookies at the lunch, so we need something of cookies. And so I want somebody to order it, I got the cat. I just want somebody to order the cookies and all more items out.
Probably on lunch. Yeah. Then lead source. This is just like tags where it can get out of control. You have too many. So we're just going to pick on the open house. So right here, now you can say create custom source. Now going forward, if I go to add my second person I met from the open house, that's going to be an option. Don't forget to hit add. And if you've not talked to him, hit mark as lead. If you have talked to him, leave it blank. Tag, same thing. Are they active or what? This is going to be up to you to create what you want around tags. But remember, fine line between not enough and too many. So how do you want to be able to organize your database? You only see this. You only see the lead source. So this is how you, in your mind, organize. And same thing here, if I create a custom tag, it's going to ask me to create a custom tag, and it'll always be there for the next person. Additional contact information. It's going to be, maybe we got their work email, we got their personal email, we got their main address, we got some rental properties or a lake home. I'll put as many addresses here as possible. Under about, now we can get into their legal name. Home anniversaries, these are key. If you're going to use a home anniversary smart plan, you have to have that in. And again, add their spouse, add their work name, what's their title. Again, there's no such thing as too much information for our clients. And again, you won't have all this up front, but as you get going, you learn more and more about these people. Add it in there. And then under custom, you can add a custom field. I'm not quite sure what, feels like they got pretty much everything spoken for, if you will. But if you think of something creative that maybe applies to you and your business, this would be where it would go. So we did our prospecting, we did our marketing, we met this person, we put them into command. Everything on the left-hand side is how we get a hold. Everything on the right-hand side is stuff that we can edit as time goes. So now we're going to go to add task, because for everybody we put in, a task should be the second step. Why do you think that is? Just so you don't forget about it. If you put them into a database and you don't have a reminder to call and text them, whatever, you're not going to remember. That's why that's so important. Smart are going to be step 3. But a task is what's going to remind you, I need to call this person about, again, only you see the tasks. Make it as specific to you as possible. And it could be something like, hey, I got a busy day, I don't have time to set them up on a safe search. It could be a task about this person, create a safe search. Again, it's only for you to remember to do something. So create task. Now you got call, text, or other. And then you get to set the priority level. Like we were talking about this morning, this is how you can prioritize your to-do list. You always start with the highest priority tasks. So again, this is your system to build. But to me, if it's following up with a new client, that should probably be a high priority task all the time. Somebody year down the road, maybe that's more of a low level task. If we don't talk to them today, it's not going to be a deal breaker. Maybe these people, we're not quite sure where they're at in the spectrum yet. So it should be a high priority because we want to learn this. And you can create a repeating task. It's up to you. Great. And now it's hyperlink would be if you want to add a house. So what we could do is add a link to, since we met this person at Gateway, we could grab the link for the house and put it right here so we can get a direct link to the house without having to go to search for it. You'd have to open up another tab and just go to your KW site or whatever. Can again, this is only for you, so whatever you want to use. But again, if that's going to be a link you send out, again, try to get them into your atmosphere as much as possible. Good question. Thank you. One thing I forgot to do. So on the date due or due date, you can't put a time specific. So a good example for this would be, you know, they work second shift. So you probably want to call them before they go into work or call them back. You know, they work third shift. Do not put 9 a.m. They will probably meet you. Like how he just took days like.
You did.
Oh. All right, so now we're gonna go back to our task box, because again, I get to my call time for today. Here's all my tasks. I have a lot of past due ones from the holidays. So here's today's, where did it go? Oh, right here, the second one down. That's today's task. Now, what is the difference between contact tasks and opportunity tasks? Do you guys know? This kind of drives me nuts that they changed this, but if you go under filter, under linked to, you would pick contact or opportunity. Why this is important. Opportunity task, if we set it up, and again, we're going to talk about opportunities, but we're not going to get into checklists or due dates or anything. Opportunity checklists have to do with deals that are under contract. Contact tasks are follow up with clients that are not under contract. Means when you get to your call time for your contacts, you should filter by contact task only. When you get to managing my transaction stuff, filter by opportunity costs. Why do you think that is? Think about it.
I think this is great, your opportunity faster, your higher priority. Probably the one task like what you walked out for me, like, if I'm calling customers, I don't want to get tied up. I'm like, I don't get that.
You go in the right direction. So people default to what's in it. Making cold calls and making calls to people you don't know. Much harder than calling people that are in their country. So it's very easy to not protect that country. This has to be part of your system that you're doing. So again, we brought people over, we did all this work to bring them in. We have a fear of calling them. But we never call one time. They're gonna go use somebody else. So from reference back to where you feel like you're being alone for people when they're 18 months away, like I should have talked to them about something. We don't talk to them, the answer's no. We annoy them, at least we try. Right, but chances are, especially if we approach it the right way, not like it.
Not value. Like health insurance, right?
You do not sign up for it.
Yes, no one wants those, and they're super annoying, yes, it's it, but they don't offer anything. So I'm always like, don't be the narc, like, don't be those, right?
Don't be that.
Yeah, don't be there. And I haven't got it figured out.
Or you can unsubscribe to them and then,
Oh, no, I mean,
oh, gotcha. But I guess let's dive in on that, because again, we're spending all this time building systems around bringing people in. We're building systems once they're in our database. If we're approaching it to truly help them, we're not being. You're like, hey, do you want to buy yet? You want to buy yet? You want to buy? That's it. Check in on them. Even if they're 18 months away, check in on them and have a good conversation, get to know. But keep doing that after. This is where like maybe getting birthdays and things like that as you're doing consultations. It's not a bad idea because you can send out birthday cards, holiday cards. There's an agent, KWU agent, I see she does leading into Thanksgiving, the client grant, so you have to, she sends out an email, you get the pumpkin, apple, or something like that. She provides it with the apple from the rocks. That is a question. Not only do you see an email to pick it, you come to our office, she gets some. I'm sure there's probably logos before. You know what I mean? So she got creative. There's a lot of creative ideas out there. Again, that's one of the reasons I want to give you guys that 150 ways to pass something. But we get them here, we have to protect the time when we get the top. For clients that are not. Otherwise, we're just wasting money at time, bringing advocacy for everybody. Which rarely will be, you've been doing it long enough, but there'll be some here and there where it's like, you meet them, show them a couple houses and they write a contract there. 500, just meet them, show them a couple things that cool off for a minute and they get back at it. 3, 4, 5 months go by and type of thing. You have to be able to ride that way. That one on disability group, we worked with them 4 years before they transact. Met them at an open house. They thought they were ready to transact, and sell and buy and all that. They decided to wait. We stayed in touch with them when it came time, literally over 4 years later. They called us back because we stayed in touch with them consistently.
That's not they gave my email address just like 5 years ago. I've never been there. Canceled, so I still get his email. Even though I'm not looking, but I see what you're saying. Where you touch it, if you get to touch it, and I know how to go to.
Well, my wallet right here, the Ridge wallet on it. I was like, oh, maybe I'll get one. And I was like, eh. All the time, emails, emails.
For the wallet?
Yeah, because I signed up for this stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So you give me your email text as they make you do that. Non-stop, email stuff. After about 2 weeks, I finally broke down all.
Yeah, I was looking at actually, it's a very long, 17. Okay.
Yeah, click the band.
What?
I want to click. I need to get it. I was like,
Yeah.
What's so good about it?
You almost forget it's, and my other wall was too much, and maybe get rid of a bunch.
It's big,
Yeah,
so.
I mean, it's, like, so I like that it's like so minimal. It doesn't allow me to keep. Try to shred much stuff. I can't put a bunch of receipts. Well,
Can you capture it all?
You're not click.
Okay.
Brian, your shoes, small, big, small.
they come with the screwdriver.
I know that.
Yeah. But this is why staying in touch, like, they're sharing their value proposition with me, and over time, I was like, might as well just buy it. I'm like, you know, same thing, what's your value proposition of being, staying in contact with my clients? Once we're done, hit the check. Now it's asking us, and I'm gonna show us on my phone here as well. Would you like to add activity to the timeline? Yes. Interaction type, because we set the interaction type when we created the task. Outcome, we talked. Nice talk, you know, whatever else you want to put in there. Hit complete. We go back to the contact. Right here on the timeline, it's always the newest note at the top. But again, now you can see the value as you do this stuff. If I haven't talked to them in a month or two, I can come back and review all my conversations. If you get them signed up on your app and everything, it'll show houses they're viewing. Any houses they inquired about will show up on the timeline. So you can do a quick review of all your notes, all the things they looked at. Now, when you call them, you've got kind of, you refresh your memory on them. And you don't have to keep it all in your mind. There's only so much a brain can store.
How do you sync your, phone to this?
It automatically does it.
It automatically does it?
Mhm.
So I'm showing I have 317 contacts.
Pick a card, any card. So say that one more time. Your website says what?
Huh?
So your
My contacts are like 400 some, and this says I've got 319, 317. I don't have very many contacts. I need to look at that. Yeah, see? This is a command. Not student.
I mean, I'm just curious because if you're having it, wondering if other people got updated matrix, maybe it's not updating.
Maybe, right, that makes sense.
My number for free. I'm gonna be from command.
Well, now Twilio, you gotta pay for it. But through your command app, you can text and then I'll share the command app on my. For. Smartphones,
No, just, that's.
on your computer, no, I don't know why it's different.
Okay.
I thought for the Macs, because you can connect your phone number to your Mac.
Yeah.
From there, I think, but on the command app, you can do it without needing Twilio.
Oh, so not in the 200 plus.
You are?
Check your.
So, okay. Any questions on this part here? So smart plans is step 3 of this process. And they're gonna be a very active buyer, say 90 days or sooner. I don't know if smart plans make much sense. You could probably make a case, but a safe search, 110% makes sense. If they're longer than 3 months, a smart plan probably is a good reminder. So you can go to add to smart plans. These are all the ones that you attach to your account. We'll go over where the library is in a minute. and how to create your own. But smart plans can automatically email for you, and if you sign up for Twilio, it'll automatically text you. Now, think about this, again, as we build these systems, how quickly, when you do your prospecting and marketing and you bring these people in your database, how quickly do you want to talk to them? Within 10 minutes or sooner is kind of the average. Well, let's say that person working third shift, they're taking their lunch at 2 in the morning. They get on your website and sign up because they saw the ad or whatever you're running. That's where smart plan can begin. Because when you build these ads, they come in, they can automatically attach into a smart plan where you text them right away. And it seems like it's, hey, thanks so much for checking out my beautiful listing. Are there any questions I can help or would you like to set up your own? Now they respond when you pick up and see the message. They heard from you right away, so they feel connected to you. When you get up, you can message them back.
You'll see the text message.
You'll get a notification.
So just, personal, if this is the first time they contacted this person, so it's really a number of people looking at, if you can contact them.
I would change it. Yeah. Like, hey, here's my personal cell phone number. Make it sound like that's exclusive, like, hey, not everybody has this, you know? Right. Right.
Yeah, it's but I'm really confused because I don't normally get this on my phone. I just put it on here. But, I was just doing the opportunity, like my thing with Merle that's closing in a couple of days, isn't even on.
It may have been that updated. Oh, for that, yeah, so. But either which way, we go back to the, or actually, we're gonna cover that in a second. So on the left-hand side, fourth icon down, smart plans. And you'll see where it says library. Search for any type of smart plan that you want, and you'll probably find it. Open house is 6 month just looking nurture. How many times have we talked about that today? So Blake created this, as probably an agent with us. Hit view steps. Hover over them and you'll see all the different verbiages they'll use. For this. Yeah, but you gotta check it.
Give my card back. Walk without credit.
I'm not too sure. That's a good question. We'll go through the create process to show you guys. I don't know if you have to hit like you're willing to share it, or if it automatically does. You do. I assume so because we're in a sales business, right? Competitive nature. You might create the awesome one and you're like, but if you didn't, yeah. Yeah. So if you don't want to pay for Twilio, this is nice that you can see what messages be sent out, so you can create a task on your own. That will remind you to text this exact verbiage. And if you do sign up for a smart plan that has texting and you don't sign up for Twilio, it will put you on a task. Text. So.
Steps on that one right there, so. Before it even reaches out, we wait 20 days.
This particular smart plan? Okay. I wonder what link MNN is. So you're talking about this, wait 20 days, send a text, wait a day, wait 10 days. Restart and it's gonna go 5 times. Okay. I'm curious what this top thing is.
I'm gonna be like, leave the person.
contact will be started on this plan if they are not already. I don't know. So, but anything you want to do, there's probably one in here. If you find one you like, make sure you hit add smart plan. So on that contact where you can see that whole laundry list, that's where they get to. Is by you hitting add smart plan right there. Talked about the 8x8 engagement. There it is right there, second one in, created by the company. Not the greatest rating. 12 direct email. So we talked about direct mail. This is again the new version of that. Here's the 12 emails. Thank you. Yeah. So an 8x8 seller. Let's see. And then here's the 36 touch campaign. So again, earlier today we went, it was 33, now it's up to 36. So there's that. And a few different ones, one from Maui. So it's just kind of interesting. And I like to scroll through these and see what different agents do because they put their own spins on them, right? So go through these, take some time, study these, and just really create a flow chart to. All right, my clients, I'm doing this. When they come in, here's what I want to do. Put that much thought into it. Don't just wing it. That's not a system. So like this first quarter, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. And then this, that, and the other. So what is that all going to?
Can we go back to the smart plan for a second? Okay,
Which one?
so I've not done any of this. I mean, I've not even been in this little tab yet. And so so it says, the first one says promote my app. My promote my app. So what would it look like if you did this? Like, I'm clicking on it, it's not good.
So what I recommend, well,
So. Okay, here we go. No. I can't do anything.
so it's in your smart plan list. So if you click on the arrow to the left,
This thing,
yeah, that will drop down and show you all the steps. So find ones that make sense. So as you're developing your marketing, your prospecting, you're doing open house, like what smart plan do you want to attach these people to? Hey, they want to wait a while. Great, here's my 6-month plan. This person wants to do right now. Great. Again, this is somebody probably 3 months and longer away. Smart plans make sense. So we brought them in, we've added them to our database, we've made our notes, we've made our tasks. Now we added a smart plan. Now let's say that they're ready to transact right now. We're gonna go back. Now we're going to do save searches. So we'll click on boom. Save search. Create save search. So first thing, you can go by neighborhood, by zip code, by city, school attendance zone, which is school district, and then custom where you can actually draw a circle on the map.
Still not. It's like the only
Yeah.
thing I want to use.
Right.
Mhm.
You could draw a custom circle though. If you do zip codes, remember you can only do one zip code. But again, our spin to our clients, I like to tell them, like, so you're looking at 46815, 35, and 25. Hey, I'm gonna break those into individual emails so that you know which zip code each is. So I just spin it that way, so because we'll have to create 3 different searches. Price criteria and amenities they want.
You can fix that. That seems like something that should be better. Like,
If you go to ideas.kw.com, you
Yeah,
can
okay.
post the ideas.
okay.
And then they prioritize ideas.kw.com. So if since any ideas you have for command, the labs, if enough people request it, they basically work, what's the most requested? So they're reprioritizing that list all the time, and that's what they decide to work on. So the more people are requested,
Make command exactly like follow-up boss.
I think that's,
Well, they didn't own it until recently.
Yeah.
They didn't own it before they didn't own it.
fair enough.
It's, yeah,
It's like Disney.
wait, what happened to this?
They don't. They don't.
Oh, got it. I was like, Zillow owns Disney. Yeah.
Disney will buy KW at some point. I'm sure.
Well, hey, now we'll get referrals for all of the, for everybody in the Disney. I could probably represent Mickey Mouse.
Did you see that the original iteration of Mickey Mouse, the trademarks out, and they're making a horror movie comes out?
I saw that.
They're-
Before making a horror movie, they did that.
No, they did it to wait. They're
Because after so many years, your trademark. copyright,
100 years
Yeah,
expires and there's nothing you can do about it. You can't.
It was baby.
Well, they can take that, Mickey, and do whatever they want to do. So they made like those. That.
That made my day.
right, if you have a kid, you pick the wrong movie. Some of the therapy for a few years. So, again, you want to be specific, but you don't want to get too specific because you don't want options to miss. So once you pick everything, next page. So search title, so if you're creating multiple for clients, call this the zip code, so 46815. Email notifications, make sure that email's correct, and then send email notifications. I don't know why it's not defaulted to on. Instant, so within 30 minutes of it hitting the MLS, it's gonna send out the email. Daily summary, weekly summary, bi-weekly and monthly. So if they're a ways away, we probably don't need to do instant. But if they're looking to buy in the next 90 days or so, or sooner, set them up for instant. Like we talked about earlier, if we have a client we've been talking to, and they truly are maybe a year away, like, hey, do you mind if I send you a weekly update, just kind of what's out there? So again, when the time comes and you're ready. That's not, sorry.
Provide my client lost the housing prices. Down.
I mean, I wouldn't put it to them that way. What I would say is, then when the time comes, you know what's out there, how quickly they're selling and what the values are, or what the prices are going to be. And then hit create safe search. What I recommend to work through this process, all of you have your own personal emails, create yourself as a contact in PD. Set yourself up on the save search, see what those emails are. Create yourself an account on your Keller Williams site. Sign up for a safe search, see what that looks like from the clients. View a few houses, then look yourself up in command, and you can see how it's saying viewed home, viewed listing, and all that kind of stuff. So it's a good way, because again, anything we're having our clients do, we should have an understanding of what that looks like.
Like, why use your app over Zillow? Like, I know why. I know I want you to use my app over Zillow, but what do you say to somebody else? Think about why would I just like think Zillow? How do you use your app?
Right.
What they're already comfortable.
I really like the neighborhood village. I like to know that. Something that Zillow doesn't have. Something like, oh, if there's something specific to the neighborhood, you can just outline that neighborhood, comes right out. And nice.
If they do, the one upside I would say about the app, 'cause I don't think I have to say anything close to it, there's Zillow, but I do tell my clients that, I said, with this app, when they log on, because I actually went through the process myself, I moved here, a little to refer to Jill and Gary. They didn't follow up. So but but I did.
We'll just skip right past that.
No, I was there for like a year and we were here and she's like I met them. And then like the first time they met me. And then one day Gary's like, I remember you. I'm like, oh, do you now? Yeah, I've been here for like a year. But
That's how I feel about you.
Yeah.
You can't remember my
I'm
name.
sorry, Shirley, goodbye. But no, the cool thing, I'll never forget it, because I remember when I first met him, so it's easy for me to see it as a person moving from Wayne and being on the client side. It's like, oh yeah, we got this app. But when I downloaded the app, it was my first time ever like really having an app. I guess it's 2019. And when I like a house, it notifies them. So that makes it really easy for me. So that's what I say. That's the biggest upside is if you're looking for homes on this app, anytime, like, you don't even have to say it. When you like a house, now I know, and it helps me better with our home search, because your goal is to, and I didn't realize this until now, up until this point, I'm like, all right, I'm the agent, I'll show you any houses. Well, technically, I'm not doing my job if I show you 20 houses, probably. We haven't narrowed it down enough. Like, I'm just showing you a bunch of houses, like, okay, what is it that you're really looking for? I want a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, I want palm views, I want to be in this area. It's like, okay, we're gonna pick 5 houses. And before I leave, this is something I'm bringing in 2024. When you go do a showing time, before you leave that house, part of your consultation, you show the house, it's like, okay, how do you feel about the house? Because your goal is not to show them as many houses as possible. Your goal is to get them to
Buy a house.
yeah, and do it. And so it's like, they're like, oh, well, you know what? It was by a busy road. Write that down. So next time, if they like a house, when you go there and you say, oh, I like this house. Oh, well, remember when we saw the one on Quicksand Road? That was by a busy house. And you just remind them of that. And if they don't put an offer on that house, you say, hey, listen, I'm not doing my job if I show you more houses, if that makes sense. So I know that's a long.
Because again, it's third time, but me hit on a few points there about. It's a two-way communication. We're actually going to use the website and the app here in a second. But it's so I can see what you're looking at. And it's a two-way communication portal between us. But in your buyer consultation and listing presentation, you should just sit there with them, download the app, attach you as their agent, have them create their login right there on the spot. And let them see.
You're automatically attached to the agent if you shoot up your link.
You're not, but
Or not.
Okay,
I
so,
don't know why.
so have them log into your app, create a thing.
Well, you can share them the app, but when we get to the apps,
Okay.
I'll show you guys how to share it. Because you can just do it while you're sitting at the table, you share it with them, have them create their username and password.
I'm not automatically their agent.
And when I've done it, I've never had it automatically.
Sometime I remember one time somebody actually downloaded my, when they hit a like, it'll
That's what I have, and I, gotcha.
yeah, I think so.
So before we get to the app, so this is Lorraine here, and I'll show you guys how to connect your emails in case it's not. So we're messing with this earlier this year. So you can see she viewed this listing. So she signed up as a client of mine. This is a hyperlink, so I can click right here. And it's going to take me right to the house. She's got expensive taste. $1 million. You can see how nicely this is laid out. Here's all this stuff, and I'm going to have one of you guys get on my website and set up a thing so you can see how quickly it works. This pulls everything from the MLS. Here's a mortgage calculator right here on the website. But I can see, she's like, hey, I was looking at that house. Can't remember. It's kind of, you can scroll their timeline and see this. Here's the benefit of all the smart plans that I attached her to. She subscribed to neighborhoods. But look up here. Here's another one she looked at. By connecting our email, and again, I'll show you how. This will show me every email between me and the client. Because it's a direct link. So I don't need to go to my Google, I don't need, or Gmail, I don't need to go here and there, sponsor out. Again, this is a timeline of every communication with the client. So if you're calling and texting and adding notes, your email's automatically syncing here. It's pretty amazing. And she's my admin, so you're gonna see a bunch of my deals and stuff. Pretty much. So any questions on this part of it before I put my app up here?
In auditing, let's say I have to go.
I make copies of text messages that have gone back and forth to make sure to file that. Does this track any of that stuff in?
You can copy and paste in the app from when I show you that.
Right.
Alright. Alright, so here's the command app. So if you guys want to get your phones out and get on here.
Brian Sheikh KWU.com.
That's my email. That's not my.
KW Recycling.
Oh, no, it's B Sheikhy, BSHE, I can't H-E. KW.com.
The last name Shiki.
What I say? How did I just say it?
But,
Oh, my bad. How did I just pronounce your name? Sheik. What did I say? I
well,
said-
my whole last name, Sheikh Al Shabab. So the thing's not long enough, so just take my last name and the first letter of the middle part and merge them.
Be shaky.
Shiki.
Yeah.
I love it.
So Trey's one of my clients. We've been looking at houses. I want to call him really quick. So again, this is all from my phone number. Primary, so it's gonna pop up however I'm in his phone. As soon as I hit end, this is gonna come up. Add activity. He didn't answer. We'll make a note. See, done. Now, what would be nice is what Paul is sitting on when I go to text. Same thing, I'll pick the number. So that, go back here, now it's gonna add me to add activity. It'd be really nice if it copied automatically. So when I go to actually send a message, I'll just copy it before I hit send. And then just paste it, copy the text. So when I went to text Trey, like if this was a client of mine, I would have copied the text before I hit send. Then I would just paste it in.
For the note.
That's still pretty slow.
But you can see the interaction type, the last time it said call, now it's saying text. So now as the reporting gets better and better in command, you're able to pull reports like, hey, I made this many calls this month, this many texts, sent this many emails, I had a great month. Months that you aren't doing as well, maybe review that. Again, this is where we're going to this morning session, we start tracking our progress. We're talking to more people, more closings, our conversion rates getting better.
I did not know you could do that.
So now, to your point, Marla, so if you go under contacts, top right corner, there's the three dots. This is how you can import the rest of your database from your phone. So you can hit import contacts and it's going to say you're importing, if you're on a team that may have this. This is all the contacts in your phone. If you want, you can hit select all. You can go through and just pick a few, whatever you want to do. So this is the not yet imported. If I want to see all my clients, contacts, I'm sorry, I'll hit all of them. Be careful though, because you'll create duplicates. Then you gotta go through the whole deduplication stuff.
So one of my things I'm doing is I always put the contact in my iPhone, and then I go right here. Right, I do it. But that way my iPhone is locked the data first.
Right. So now right here in the middle, just like we showed you on the homepage of command. Leads never contacted, tour request, client inquiries, recently active. Sorry, on my website. Pick a house and put request tours. And if it asks you to sign up, just sign up under a fake name. Yeah, just make a fake, just call like test 2 or something. So recently active just went from 2 to 3, so now it's picking up these on my site. Did you hit tour?
Yeah, you gotta do a couple.
Okay. Oh, you gotta pick the times and stuff, yeah. So it's gonna ask, what time frame do you wanna see the house? I'll give you, I think I'll have you pick 3 different time frames. So when you get that request as the agent, you know, hey, they wanna see it today between these hours, tomorrow between these hours or whatever. That's really handy. So now you know when to contact them. Then you signed up as an account? Sure. Showed you as active and not as a tour request. What was the contact name?
Yeah. Then like a fake Yahoo, I'll see you up there. And then just do it.
That's right.
Okay. Like, I'm, our website, like, my listing in Topeka, I'm on here. It's showing up listings in the area, but mine. Oh, and I think I just. Well, look, it's, is that my listing, that little thing there? That little thing, is that it?
It says submit again. Sorry.
You're fine. Just,
Oh.
I'm just, if I can. Is that it?
I don't know. That's where it's not working, but they'll come up as tour requested. You'll get a notification on your phone. So it's pretty handy. Now, as far as the consumer one, so this is the one that has this white KW icon. This is the consumer facing app. So right in the bottom right corner where it says more, you can share your app from here. So share KW app, and this is what you'd send to your clients, have them download it, have them create their username and password. And then they can create their safe search right there while they're sitting, because you can teach them how to use the app while you guys are all sitting together. And then at the very top, where it says find an agent, you want to make sure that it selects you. And if not, you can go in there, find yourself, and get it set. So now we've done all this stuff to bring them in our database. We put them in a database with all the reminders, the notes, we create a safe search or put them on a smart plan. Now we're getting to the meeting. So we're getting them set up on our app and on our website, because that's going to be the same login information. You can take it a step further, teaching them how to use the website so that they know how to use the mortgage calculator and things like this. So you can see where this is just a really powerful way to communicate and work with our clients.
I found what I was telling you, that I have 471 contacts.
Okay.
And then on the contact thing, it says not yet imported, and then I select all, not yet.
And then hit import.
It won't duplicate, no, it's selecting them all.
Well, if it's not yet up, you're picking not yet uploaded, it's not in your command yet.
Did you say that, let's say, which I go on, so I gotta be imported now. When I initially loaded it. Now,
Yeah, no, that's right.
I wanna do a
I
fresh
already have them in there.
import of what my iPhone is now.
Huh?
It's gonna duplicate it that way.
It can if you pick all, but if you pick not yet imported, it should not.
Oh, gosh.
All right, so back to this. So getting into referral systems. We've brought in new clients, we've closed deals, we've done all the stuff. Now we need a system about how are we going to be asking for referrals? So would you ask all your clients to follow you on Facebook? So you can kind of stay in touch? There's no right or wrong, but just if you do, be careful what you post. Because again, it's got to be in alignment, right? I'm not saying what you're doing is wrong, but it might be something that they don't agree with. So no need to lose our clients over that. So build your database with advocates for you. Who's going to be out there speaking good of you? It's better to have other people talking well of you as opposed to you talking well of you, right? Like we talked about with the hamburger example, right? It's just okay. Nobody's talking about it. If it's really good or really bad, people will talk about it. So which one do you want to be when you think about your real estate business? This goes to what we've kind of talked about all throughout the day. We don't reach out to our clients, you're not going to get the business. You won't get what you don't ask for. When you think about people in your life, is their job the first thing that you think about with them? There might be a few people, but by and large not. So if you don't remind people that, hey, my business is built on referrals, please send me referrals if you hear of anybody that I can help. Because they may not look at you as a realtor first. It might be like the fifth thing that they think about. So they might hear somebody talking about buying or selling, and they don't even think about connecting the two of you. You need to plant that seed. So a lot of you just went through school on this. So there's all sorts of rules of what you can do to, as far as rewards and gifts and things like that. What I like to do, so if you sent me a referral, it's my client, I might send you like $5 to Starbucks, just say, hey, thank you for thinking of me. Really looking forward to working with so-and-so to help them buy their first house. Now, if it closes, I'll send you something bigger. Because you have no control over if it closes, but I don't want to spend $50 every time you send me a referral. Maybe if it's a bigger deal, I'll send you something bigger. Maybe it's $100, hey, take you and the family out to dinner, enjoy. But again, this ties all the way back to the beginning, getting to know your clients. So if I know something that you really like to do, you like to country heritage wine, maybe I get you a gift card there. Getting to know your clients at a deeper level, then I can kind of customize that gift to you. And this is where showing your appreciation at every step. You send it my way, I sent you something to say thank you. It closed, I sent something to say thank you. As my client, I'm sending you stuff, maybe doing client appreciation parties. So I'm always showing gratitude throughout the way. And you don't have to buy the referral relationship. So to me, what we're doing is not buying it. We're just saying thank you. But it doesn't have to be something you buy. It could be something else. But again, this is where you need to get to know your clients at a deeper level so that you know. And reciprocate when possible. So if this is a lender partnership, a contractor partnership, or whatever, reciprocate, send business their way.
I have a quick question on
Sure.
that, just to keep things straight and narrow. I know that as licensed people, we can't give like a monetary gift to a non-licensed person. Is that correct? So like if like my best friend gave me a referral, I couldn't pay her
Correct.
$100.
You shouldn't, correct.
I mean, also because she's my best friend.
Correct.
But you could give them a gift, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. Is there a limit on that?
For tax purposes, I think it's what, $35?
Unless it's branded.
Unless your logo's on it, right? So like if you bought the Cutco Nice.
Yeah, okay, all right.
I think it's pretty straightforward though. Like your sphere, like your country, right? This home. I mean, these people, my core advocates, these are probably what my referrals are gonna go to. Well, my people that, like Dalton, Sonia, who's working give it a referral, I might buy Dalton the club or something like that. Like, I'm not saying it's for that, or what I'm saying? Like, your friends, like, they have this drive at the school where, we donate this and other. She just sent me a referral. I'm like, oh, yeah, how much do you want? You see, so like, it's almost like it's just the whole thing.
Don't leave a paper trail.
I mean, yeah, you don't want to send it directly. Yeah, there's always, and I think it's pretty cool too, because like the way I'm looking at it.
But you're rewarding the activity. You're not saying, you're not paying them to go out and do the work for you.
Yeah, no.
And it's not money either. It's a gift.
Right.
So.
Don't send it to the shirt.
What a day. The client.
I don't think he's in here for that story.
Client, I had the ship of Ballard County.
So 5 referral systems, establish a database. Again, it gets back to your database. So in your database could be your lender partners, your contractors and all that. The other nice thing is like if somebody calls you wanting, hey, I need to get my roof done, who would you recommend? You could send them to them right out of command. And you could make notes of that for that contact. Make systematic personal contact. So again, put reminders in there, set them up on a smart plan. So you just check in with those partners. And it could be a special communication with just those people. And provide excellent customer service. Again, if we do not do a good job, the referral network's gonna be dry. I don't know why that's not number one, in all honesty, or two. The service has to be top notch. And when you get to a certain point, implement a client appreciation program, but think about it as you're building your business. You don't have to create the event. Maybe you just invite them to an existing event. And you just have a area where you invite them to come over and say hi. We had one of our agents last year did photos with either the Grinch or Santa Claus. You got to pick. You got one family photo, but that was kind of a fun spin on it, but it had her logo on it and everything.
Just a bit Grinch.
She had people doing it so she could talk to her clients. So. In your inner circles, visit one-on-one several times a year. Maybe you go out and get coffees, maybe you pop into their office. And again, make sure you're sending business back. Keep track of that so you know, especially if it's like lenders, you want to make sure you're round robining all the lender partnerships. And making sure you understand what they can offer so that you're staying in touch and sending them clients that could get pre-approved. There's nothing worse than we send a bunch of clients to a lender and then they can't get them approved. So as we wrap up referrals, anything from today, because we got one more chapter to go, and we'll be done for the day. Think about referrals. It's some of the easiest money you'll make. If you can find 5 or 6 referral partners between different industries, and they send you a couple deals every year, right there's one closing a month. You didn't have to cold call, you didn't have to door knock, you didn't have to host open houses. And a good lender partner, especially if they're newer to the business like you and they're looking to build their business, they don't have an established realtor network that you're trying to tap into. They're building it just like you're building your business. All right. So this is kind of getting to, I would say this is probably towards the halfway point of this year where you're really going to be able to, if you start using this today, this is the stuff that you'll be able to start tracking. But starting today, weigh your lead generation options. Could be something from that list, could be something completely different. It's up to you. Create something that you're going to be excited to do. That's important because if you don't want to do it, you're not going to. You might do it a day or two. It's like going to the gym. If you truly don't want to go to the gym, you're not going. Have fun going.
The person I ordered cookies.
We got to tear into this thing. The goal of lead generation's numbers. The goal is not to bring in 2 people, but it's not necessarily bringing 4,000 either. You got to find a number that you'd be happy with. So again, when you're designing this marketing and lead generation campaign and system, what would be a success? Maybe it's 20. That's great. Maybe it is 100. Maybe it is 200. Determine the effect of your economic model. You guys remember the economic model? Basically, does it financially make sense? So just business school 101 tells you for every dollar you spend, at minimum, you should make 3. So you spend $100, it should bring you $300. In our business, that's very easy to do. Let's say you spend $100 every month and you only get 1 closing out of that. That's $100 times 12, right? $1,200. But you get 1 closing all year long. $6,000. Well, you made more than 3 to 1. But can you afford to spend the $100 a month? You have a budget. Again, it ties back to business planning clinic. You should have a budget. Even if your budget's $500 for this year outside your licensing dues, remember, those are about $3,000. By the time you pay your MLS stuff, your NAR stuff. But again, 1 closing takes care of that, right?
Where are you getting that number?
3,000.
Yeah,
Well, you got $800.
I thought we paid, yeah,
What?
yeah, the MLS or whatever.
So you got $800 to NAR, right? Then you got $600 MLS, 150 a quarter.
Oh, okay.
So there's 1,400. You got office bills, there's about another 1,200, there's 2,600.
Okay.
Then you got odds and ends.
I was just thinking the 800, I'm like.
No, it adds up, but
I'm thinking, I
but
got a
that's-
deal. I was like,
but that's why,
That's gonna be $7.99.
but that's why I'm not thinking that, but that's so many agents think that.
Yeah,
They're just like, that's not that much. It's like, when you really sit down and think about it though, because our office bill's pretty average for companies our size. NAR dues, MLS dues, doesn't matter where you're at, those are gonna be what they are. So you're right in that $2,500 to $3,000.
okay.
So right there off the bat, there's $3,000 in expenses. You sell something, you don't, you're out $3,000. So you need at least one closing to even break even. Right? So now it's how you got what kind of marketing dollars, so we're still early enough in the year, if you don't have this done, you can get it done. How much are you willing to spend to do all these things with companies? And there's no right or wrong, it's, you gotta figure out what you can do. QuickBooks is a great tool. It also tracks your mileage. Don't forget about writing your mileage.
You can only claim mileage or expenses, right? Like, what if you have like a car payment? No,
Most of it in your company name, but then you can't write off your mileage. I don't think.
you can only do one or the other. So,
Well, you could lease a car too.
Only if it's in your company name.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hmm.
That's not the extent of my tax advice. So, but think about what are you willing to invest? And then this gets back to our system about tracking where they're coming from, because if you're going to be spending money, make sure you're getting your return. Then you get into your ratios. So for every lead that comes in, how many am I actually connecting with? How many appointments am I getting? And how many closings? This gets into opportunities. So let's have like a flow chart here. So the lead comes in, takes a while, we finally get a hold of it. So we create an opportunity because now we understand, are they looking to buy, sell, both, whatever it is. We get them in the right phase because now we know their time. We move them through the process. That's how you're going to convert those ratios. Because as soon as you know what their goal is, you're making an opportunity. So by your reports, you know how many you brought in, how many opportunities in total you created, and how many of those opportunities closed. So that's how you get your ratios. We brought in 300 people. I created 50 opportunities and I closed 20. And the reporting inside of command will let you do all. This is why it's so important to do what we just did right after lunch. Soon as you get the person's information. They logged in through a social media, their info's already in command, just verify it, update it, add a reminder. If you met them at an open house. Put their information. One thing I keep requesting, it'd be really slick if they had like a portal on command where you could just have your laptop at an open house. Where they could just sign up directly.
Yeah.
But you could have just the sign-in page that you just had on my website, have your own website. Now, if they're like, hey, what about other houses in that area or whatever, and you could just have them sign up directly on your website. Now you don't even have to mess with the paper system.
House landing page.
It's great,
Got my iPad sitting here, ready to go for us.
right? You could have a QR code. Again, think of them, make these things an experience. How are you going to get their information? Paper system's great, QR code is great, have a website. There are apps you can buy where it's open house sign-ins, but it'd be really slick if it's built into me.
Mhm.
So you don't have to get it from here and put it here.
Isn't it? We put a new open house landing page?
Right, but I think it'd be even nice, it'd be really slick.
What's an open house landing page?
So
So
for any
in the-
house,
yeah.
you can like bring up the web page, if you will, and then after it, do a slash and then write open house, and it'll give you a landing page with the information, so they can put their info in, and that's what you have to go entry.
So you remember when we were at Mega Camp and they got us our new agent websites? So now off the tails of that, they just relaunched all the landing. And that's fine. Here, let's do this really
It's
quick.
pretty slick. And you can do it for any house.
Okay. Because not every open house is your open or your
You
listings.
can do it for any house on the market.
Somebody's got game. Schlichtenmeyer game.
Me and her are gonna be really good friends.
All right, so here's the house right here, so
I'm like, what?
you think you gotta keep this number, I can't.
What is your KWU website? Sheikh at KW?
Mhm.
That's a great.
Shiki? It is a great.
I'll make decisions.
What do you say? I'll be the decision of that.
No, he said it's not that great, but
It's
1936.
bring me a non-contingent buyer, I'd be happy.
for,
Oh, it's gotta be not contingent.
Because we have a first right contingent offer accepted.
A lot of first rate contingents in the first year.
I know. Where the hell is that?
Okay, but. Okay, they got it.
And you dropped it 5,000?
I did know that.
I was gonna say, I hope so, because you just didn't open house,
I
right?
did know that.
We talked about it.
But why does it keep dropping? I can't see. Oh, that's nice. Ooh, and it's in the 845 too.
Yep.
Nice.
It's been there for 120 days, where have you been?
Shut up.
we've had this all out forever.
I'm gonna call Kevin.
Who's Kevin?
Inspired.
Sorry.
So
You want me
if
to
you
take it?
use this, does that then go into your command?
Should, let's test it out.
So this whole next last open house, I didn't see you yet.
Yeah,
This one's big.
She was challenged. What do you? 845, I mean, I'm not discriminating.
just sort of curious how quickly it'll pop up on
The single person took a house there.
Gotcha.
But.
Oh, damn.
I don't know if we're waiting about.
I'm not actually doing the signing, so now you got QR code that they can scan.
Yeah, that 845, like right, sort of like.
Oh, I see
And
this.
then there's other real property info.
Well,
And then you
right on
just
there.
captured all
And
their.
it just popped up on my phone. Signed it.
Well, the rest of it's in the county, so elementary school, they got like 2,000 elementary schools, and then they feed into. I think it's Maple. I recognize that was something it is. Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I know it. Couldn't recall. That's what it says. You should know that.
And it even shows property, so it shows.
If it does, that's 2 weekends, really.
He does look better. I saw. One thing I noticed.
There, right here, so now I can see the listing, signed up as an open house from. And then for-
I just seen it as a message. Did you get that?
I'm gonna keep it in mind, make sure
Under
there's.
Jake, someone in, Jake in there with email.
Oh, yeah, there it is. Yep, yep. I got my do not disturb on, so I'm teaching it. I see it under my reminders yet. So here's what he just put through. So he brought me through.
So if we were to open up house and they sign in, this is what I see.
Correct. And if I went, so view this inquiry. Go under. John? Is that what you-
Jake's.
Oh, here it is. So now you're under my leads. So click here, go to timeline, and it'll show me what you signed up. There you go.
License.
There.
There you go, man.
So you can see how all this ties together. Get,
Rating or is it rating?
I don't know.
He gets about a free.
That's fair. I was hoping for a 3.5, but you know. Why is the,
Thanks. You guys want cookies?
And we'll say, well, cookies.
Thank you for coming.
You need that very much.
Enjoy your day.
Yes,
Like, you get all this good reviews of things.
I always learn so much every time I come here.
Good.
So you need like 1 or 2 stars.
Oh.